League, baby. We are live for another week of Rugby League. Hey guys, how you going? So down BKRsport. It is Origin time. It is one of those weeks where we only have the 5 games this round. It is a lessened round as we have plenty of teams on the bye because State of Origin game number 2 where Queensland's damn well going to win, and you know it, son. That is on Wednesday down there in Melbourne between New South Wales and Queensland. So this week we have the Canterbury Bulldogs, the North Queensland Cowboys, the St. George Illawarra Dragons, the Newcastle Knights, Penrith Panthers, Manly Seagulls, and the Melbourne Storm all on a bye. And we start off here with an actual banging game here, actually, between the South Sydney Rabbitohs and the Brisbane Broncos, where, look, the Broncos, they're coming off a disastrous loss to the Gold Coast Titans after they came off a disastrous loss to the St. George Illawarra Dragons, both of which being at home in Suncorp. Now they're travelling away to take on the Rabbitohs, who are right in the thick of the action, and they're not desperate for a win, but it's still very important that they get their wins right now. They are in 8th, but by the end of the weekend, they definitely can drop out. Actually, no, they will drop out of the top 8 with the Cowboys having a bye. They need to win this game to really keep the foot on the throat of that top 8 and to really establish them there still, because the fact of the matter is they've been a little bit slipping lately as well. You know, they've been chucked onto fraud alert, and they haven't exactly been getting as many wins as they would like to be receiving at this point of the season. So, yeah, it is a very, very important game for both these teams because the Broncos, they've gone on a massive, massive losing streak since that Bulldogs game, and they've fallen well out of that top 8 consideration and need a win to get back into the conversation. Whilst the Rabbitohs, they've also had a 3-game losing streak since that fantastic win against Cronulla. They've really slipped off the mark. So this is a very, very intriguing game here today that realistically should go down to the wire, and it's very, very difficult to predict. Now, the other 4 games that we have this round, which we'll obviously be live for, we've got the FIFA World Cup starting tonight as well, or 5 a.m. for you guys in Australia. Tomorrow I'll be live at 4:30 for South Africa taking on Mexico there, which is going to be absolutely massive. And then we've got South Korea versus Czechia later on in the day. And that's at midday for you guys. What a perfect time slot for you in the East Coast of Australia. But tomorrow, we've got the Dolphins taking on the Roosters at Suncorp Stadium, 5th versus 3rd. Massive game there. The Warriors take on the Sharks on Saturday, which is going to be huge. And then we've got the Eels versus the Raiders as well on Saturday before we have the biggest game of the lot, the undefeated, unbelievable champions, so the Gold Coast Titans. Oh my gosh, never lose a game ever again. They take on the West Tigers at Leichhardt Oval, where the Tigers are desperate for a win right now, being in 10th position, whilst the Titans, they got a win against the Brisbane Broncos, and they've really got to start to put together this team. They've got a really young team, actually. Fun fact for you, every single player in the starting 13 for the Gold Coast Titans this week actually debuted at the club. That's a very good cultural shift that the Gold Coast Titans are making right now. We'll talk plenty about that over the weekend, but let's get into today's game here, guys. The game starts in 45 minutes time, so let's obviously hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you are new around here. Another big weekend of Rugby League incoming, and I've just seen my boy Matty McGregor, a member for 37 months, says, guess what, bro, we're going to Vegas, baby. Yes, we locked in our tickets today, so I will absolutely be in Las Vegas for the Gold Coast Titans match next year against the West Tigers, actually, funnily enough. Whilst the... oh, wait, no, sorry. Is it... I've just forgotten who we're playing. We are there. Is it against the Eels? I think it might actually be against the Eels. Hold on one second here. Where is it? Do they have it on the thing? I'm pretty certain it's against the Eels. Anyway, long story short, if I'm a Muppet, I am a Muppet. But if I'm a major, major Muppet and I've completely got that wrong, please let me know. But I am going to be going to Vegas, so I'm really looking forward to that. I've been to Vegas many times now, and I was there last year for the Sharkies Warriors and Panthers. No, again, I got it wrong. Sharks and Panthers. Raiders, Warriors, that was a fun experience. And that wasn't even my team. I went over there with my mum, who is a Sharks fan. So, no, I'm looking forward to enjoying it up with my boy Matty and really getting loosey-goosey there, baby. Loosey-goosey in Vegas. Gee whiz, it's going to be an absolute rocking time. But all right, let's get into this game here today. So, the South Sydney Rabbitohs, they come to this game from 8th position, and the Broncos come to this game from 12th position, and this is at a core stadium in Sydney. Now, the ins here for the Rabbitohs, Dane Jennings, Jaden Sullivan, John Raddle, and Liam LeBlanc, with the outs being Cameron Murray, Campbell Graham, Matthew Duffy, and Sean Kepi. The fullback is Jai Gray, with the wingers being Alex Johnston and Edward Corsi, centres of Latrell Siegwald and Tallis Duncan. You go to the 5'8", which is Cody Walker and the captain, with the halfback being Ashton Ward, and then you go to the front row forwards of Tavita Totola and Keon Kalamatangi, and the number 9 is Brandon Smith. The back row, David Fafita and Ewan Aiken, with the third aim being Lachlan Hubner, and the interchange, Bronson Garlick, Jamie Humphreys, Jaden Sullivan, John Raddle, Dane Jennings, and Liam LeBlanc, with the coach being Wayne Bennett. Like I said, the Rabbitohs need to get back to winning ways, quick, smart. Now, last week, was quite controversial. It was quite controversial against the Manly Seagulls, where Manly were the better team and they won 28-14. But there is a massive caveat there, is that at one point it was, I believe it was 16 points to 14 when the controversy hit, and we saw the Rabbitohs go over the line, which probably just simply was a try, and then that was called as a no try. And then right after that, in the next ongoing set, Manly scored, and it was off of a knock-on. So we've seen the Rabbitohs not take the lead, not get that try, and then the opposition team who benefited from that, they benefit again by taking an even bigger lead by scoring a try that should have been a try. So I don't really read too heavily into that Rabbitohs Manly game last week, because I do think that it is really crucial in regards to the timing, and the Rabbitohs were never able to get back into that game, and obviously Manly went out to win that game 13+, but it definitely was a controversial matchup. And Manly did benefit from some pretty crucial decisions. However, they just weren't good enough in that game against the Cowboys when they lost 30-18, and they just weren't good enough in that game at Magic Round when they lost to the Dolphins 32-10. But it's funny, because when the Rabbitohs are on, when they really click, they are a very, very good defensive side, and when they really click, they're a very, very good attacking side. However, they are the second most injured team in the competition right now, just behind the Parramatta Eels. And last year, as you would know, the Rabbitohs were quite clearly the number one team for the most amount of injuries in the competition, which is why I keep saying in regards to the Tigers, in regards to their lack of depth, they equaled the Rabbitohs last year on the ladder. They were better on points differential, but they were equal in fifth last with the West Tigers, who finished in fourth last, despite the fact the Tigers had the least amount of injuries and the Rabbitohs had the most amount of injuries, right? But with the Rabbitohs, they just seem to have this injury curse at this club right now, and guys like Ocho Mitchell are out quite frequently. You know, they've had guys. Cameron Murray's obviously out. Campbell Graham's obviously out with an injury. Matty Duffy out. Like they've had plenty of guys throughout the entirety of the season, and it is just an ongoing problem here. Jack Whiten, who, for mine, this is the biggest reason why their defense has fallen off a cliff this year. So the Rabbitohs, they had some really good defensive matchups against the Sharkies when they won 36-12, and also the game against, where was it? It was against the Tigers earlier on this year, 20-16. That was fantastic. And I thought they were very solid against the Dragons when they won 30-12, but that's also very much expected with how the Dragons have been playing this year, unless you're a Broncos fan. And then against the Storm, they only gave up the 6 points there, which was really nice to see, even though the Storm were in a really, really rough period of losing 7 games in a row at the time. The point of the matter is that when the Rabbitohs come in with the intention to defend, it usually is surrounding Jack Whiten. But when they come with the intention to defend, they can really keep that score close, and they can really keep you under 12 points, which in today's day and age, if you're keeping your team under 12 points, 99% of the time, you're going to win that game. 99.9% of the time, you are going to win a game if you're keeping teams under 12 points there. But obviously, it's just been a little bit more inconsistent afterwards, and you look at the Rabbitohs on the defense now, 294 points given up. Now, you've got to remember that there are certain teams that have only played 12 compared to 13. The Cowboys and the Storm, they've actually played 14. So when we're talking about defensive and attacking stats, and we're talking about the table as well, you've got to understand that it's not actually where it really is. You have to look a little bit deeper into it, to understand and acknowledge where the defensive situation is, right? So 294 against through 12 games. The teams that are above them right now are the Panthers. They've played one more game, and they've actually conceded only 164. So they've actually conceded 130 less points than the Rabbitohs with one extra game. That's a crazy thing to say. But they're behind the Panthers. They're also behind the Warriors on 214. They're behind the Roosters. They're behind Manly. They're behind the Dolphins. They are equal with the Sharks, so we won't include them. But they're behind actually, no, to be fair, see, this is the thing. Despite the fact that they've completely fallen off a cliff defensively, they are in equal 8th. They are equal 8th for the defense right now, or equal 7th for the defense. Yeah, there's nobody else. Like, the Titans are quite close. Again, this Titans team defensively this year is sitting around that top 8, which is fantastic. But the Rabbitohs are equal 7th. Again, behind the Panthers, the Warriors, the Roosters, Manly, the Dolphins, equal with the Sharks. So, yeah, they are actually equal 6th. And the Titans are actually 8th. Woohoo! As a Titans fan, I like to hear that. I like the noise of that. Let's get some noise going for that one. But yeah, they're equal 6th for defense. And then on the attack, 338 points. That's behind the Panthers by a considerable margin. That's behind the Warriors. That is behind the Manly Seagulls. funnily enough, it's actually above the Dolphins, surprisingly, behind the Sharks, behind Newcastle, behind the Cowboys, and that's it. So they are in 6th in the attack, but they're equal 6th for the defense. So they are actually still performing at quite a good rate. You're pretty happy with that, and that's not actually reflective of where their ladder is. They're currently in 8th position. But then you get teams like the Cowboys, who, if with 8 wins to their name, will actually jump up into that top 4 area. They won't actually jump up into the top 4 because their points differential is just simply not good. But it is very irreflective of certain things that are happening in this ladder right now. So the Rabbitohs are actually pretty strong in regards to attack and their defense, despite all these injuries. And that's why the Rabbitohs are someone to look out for if they can get their strength and conditioning in line. Their strength and conditioning is just not good enough at the moment these last couple of years. If someone from the strength and conditioning gets upset when people talk about that, well, then you are a part of the problem, unfortunately. You are part of the problem because it's pretty clear that this Rabbitohs team is getting decimated by injuries week in, week out, month in, month out, year in, year out right now. If they had the fitness levels of what you see from a Penrith Panthers or even just say the Gold Coast Titans, who don't have that many injuries right now, and there are certain clubs that really just don't have that many injuries. But if the Rabbitohs were able to keep a pretty healthy injury list, I'm telling you, this team is a top 4 team. I'm telling you, they genuinely could be a top 4 team and probably would be a top 4 team because there's no guarantees in regards to teams like Manly right now, teams like the Dolphins, teams like even the Roosters are very susceptible. I could easily see the Rabbitohs being in third position, and I could easily see them being in 2nd position as well if they weren't for their injuries, because I think earlier on this year, when they didn't have as many injuries, I think they were in the top 2 if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong there. So I'm pretty happy and excited about what the Rabbitohs have going forward. They get Payne Haas in next year. That is an absolute belter. It's just their halves that still concern me, and their halves being able to direct the game around and to find the holes and to put their best players into some good gaps. But their back line here today has been paced apart again by injury and players out. They've got Jai Gray. They've got Alex Johnston. They're 2 stalwarts of this team. Tallis Duncan's a back rower. He comes into the centres. Latrell Siegwalt is a depth player. I don't mind him. They don't get him the ball that much, but I don't mind Latrell Siegwalt, but he's not one of their starters. Usually that's Jack White and Latrell Mitchell. And then on the wing, they've got Edward Kosey, who is also a depth player there for a guy like Keble Graham, who would be on that wing. So it is a weaker backline here for the Rabbitohs, and the halves are definitely concerned Ashton Ward and Cody Walker. And we just wait to see if Cody Walker, if he can keep his head. It happened. We speak about this every single week, and it's a big emphasis point in regards to the South Sydney Rabbitohs team, because he needs to be the leadership man. He needs to be the guy that directs this team around. Ashton Ward's the 7, and typically and traditionally you want the 7 to be directing the team around, but Cody Walker is the experienced guy, and he needs to help out Ashton Ward. He's got to stop letting the game get away from him and stop letting guys like, who's a guy for the Brisbane Broncos today that could easily get under his skin? Tony Staggs isn't there. He definitely could have done that. Who is a really kind of grubby guy here for the Broncos that can really get under your skin? I really don't think there is. Maybe like a Jordan Ricky can fire up. I don't know. No, not really. There's no one really here for the Broncos that I would look at and say, yeah, they're going to get into Cody Walker, which is a different thing from the past. I guess that tells you a few of the problems and the issues that the Broncos are facing right now. But anyway, long story short, this Rabbitohs team does have enough to win this game, especially with the Broncos having a slide. But this is also a Broncos game that you look at and go, well, they're probably just going to find a way now that they are the laughing stock of the NRL at the moment. They are. Broncos fans, if you get upset about that, unfortunately, you know it's the truth. You lost to last place at home in the St. George Illawarra Dragons 30-26. And not only that, you then lost in the last few minutes to a miracle play from Keanu Kenny, but you're also pretty confidently beaten in that game if it wasn't for the fact that Titans were making all the errors, which is what the Gold Coast Titans do, don't get me wrong, but the Titans gave you all their tries. Every single try the Brisbane Broncos scored was off of a Titans error. Against anybody else that day, against a big-time team at the top 8, you would have had 40 poor passes, you would have had 50 poor passes, you would have been slapped. But you luckily come up against a Titans team that is obviously looking to improve right now. Their team is still building with an extremely young spine and a full team now of debutants from the Gold Coast. I will say, like this Broncos team, they probably would have been struggling to get over 10 points. They would have struggled to get over 6 points in that game had the Titans not given them every piece of opportunity for them to score in that game. So you look at the Broncos here, who we'll get into the team lineup in a second, and you say, well, they're embarrassing right now, and they've lost their last 2 games to last and second last at home. Don't forget, they also early on this season at Suncorp Stadium lost to the Parramatta Eels, who are currently now in second last, but the Titans were in second last. Now they're third last, but the Eels are in second last now. So the bottom 3 teams on the table at home at Suncorp, the Broncos have lost to. And that's embarrassing. So they need to wake themselves up. They need to get themselves going. And they're under this same thought process right now that a comeback is inevitable because it's what they did last year. But last year, they also smashed the Titans in their game that they needed to come back from, which was last week. And that obviously didn't happen this year. So they need to get on the move now. I feel like if they don't win this game here against the Rabbitohs, I really think that it's pretty much done for mine. I think that they're just expecting a comeback, and you can't expect the comeback. You need to take it one game at a time now still. But I feel like as an organisation, they're just expecting the same thing from last year is going to happen again. But also, when you doubt this Broncos team, they also could turn it around. So you do keep that in mind. But the Rabbitohs need to come into this game here today, not just expecting that this Broncos team is out of shape, out of form. They've lost a couple of players here to Origin. Well, they've lost Payne Haas to Origin. Also Staggs is out, and Reece Walsh. So they've got a couple of players out there with Origin. So this is a prime time opportunity here for the South Sydney Rabbitohs to pounce, but they've also got their problems themselves. Now we move over to the Brisbane Broncos, where their ins are Antonio Verhoeven, Jordan Rookie, Josh Rogers, and Phillip Coates, with the outs being Tony Staggs, Payne Haas, Reece Walsh, and Vaasemu. The fullback is Hayes Perham, with the wingers being Josiah Katapani and Jesse Arthurs. Centres of Antonio Verhoeven and Grant Anderson. Number 6 is Thomas Duffy, with the halfback being Adam Reynolds, who is the captain. You go to the front row forwards of Preston Ricky and Xavier Willison. I like that better than where he was before. And the number 9 is Corey Pakes. You go to the back row of Brendan Piakura and Jordan Ricky, with the 13 being Josh Rogers. Interesting there. And then you go to the interchange. Jack Kosevsky, Ben Hunt, Ben Talty, Orblex Tafar, Ezra Mam, thank you, and Phillip Coates, with the coach being Michael Maguire. They are still obviously missing a guy like Patrick Carrigan. Well, they're now missing Patrick Carrigan. Plus their 3 guys of Staggs, Haas, Reece Walsh. They are in trouble. They are seriously in trouble. And the Broncos in the last month and a bit now, they lost the Titans at home 28-23. They lost the Dragons at home 30-26. They lost the Warriors at Suncorp Stadium at Magic Round 42-12. They lost to Manly 32-4 at Brookvale. And they lost to the Sydney Roosters 38-24 at Allianz Stadium. Now that was a crazy game where the Broncos only came back in it. But they didn't, and then you go back to their win against the Bulldogs 32-12. We know about the Bulldogs' issues this year. It might have been the worst game I've ever watched in my life on Monday between the Bulldogs and the Eels. And I mean it too. That might have been the worst game I've ever watched in my life. It may genuinely have been in terms of quality. And then you go back to that fantastic win for the Broncos when they won 21-20 over the Tigers. And that was with the Broncos being injured and the Tigers being pretty full strength considering what they've now got within the last few weeks and whatnot. And then you go back to that Cowboys controversial loss where they lost 35-31. But overall, Broncos, seriously, if you don't win this game, I just don't see the world. I don't see a world you get into the top 8 this year. I don't see a world that you have this comeback. You have a bye next week. That's all well and good. But your points differential right now is minus 66. You now will take on the Roosters in round 17, the Sharks in round 18, a bye, the Panthers in round 20, and then you go to that Queensland Derby again before taking on the Newcastle Knights, the Dolphins, the Warriors. This isn't an easy schedule. It's not an easy schedule. And then in round 26, like we've been talking about the fact that the Melbourne Storm, they're fighting away right now to keep themselves in that top 8 conversation. They're actually equal with the top 8 in regards to wins right now with the South Sydney Rabbitohs. We're talking about the fact that this team is still there. Round 26 might be the worst time to play them because they will be fighting for that top 8 spot. So you are in trouble. Even if you win this game, you're in a bit of trouble. But at least you need to get some confidence back about yourselves to really get back on a bit of a move. And the South Sydney Rabbitohs are not going to be an easy pushover, that's for sure, when they are desperate to keep themselves in that top 8. And they must win to keep themselves in that top 8. So I find this game really perplexing. I find it really, really hard to predict. Because on one side, you go, the Broncos have been awful recently. And the Rabbitohs, whilst they've been awful, it's more so due to their injuries for mine. They can score, but if they can't, they also can't defend, but sometimes they can defend. The Broncos, they just can't really defend right now, and their attack is very wayward, and I guess they're going to have to, if it goes the same way as the Titans game, they're going to have to expect the Rabbitohs to make errors. And if we look at the stats, in regards to both these teams errors-wise, in regards to the stats, the Rabbitohs are not in the top 5. The Rabbitohs, statistically, are the second best team for the least amount of errors. They've given up 135 errors this year. The best team is the Warriors on 119. The Broncos are up there in 6th position on 151. So they've made 16 more errors this season than the South Sydney Rabbitohs. So they can't really be coming into this game expecting that the Rabbitohs are simply going to make errors to provide them the opportunities like they were last week. Because as I always say, no matter what, if you give the ball up enough times, you are going to concede. You are willing the opposition to score. You are giving them a try. If you keep knocking the ball on, or you keep throwing these forward passes, or you keep making these crucial errors, I guarantee you, it doesn't matter if you're the Panthers or it doesn't matter who you are, Queensland, New South Wales, Australia, doesn't matter. If you keep knocking the ball on, at some point you are going to break and that team will capitalise on your mistake. So if the Rabbitohs keep doing that, then sure, the Broncos can win this game. But I'm going to lean with the Rabbitohs despite their form not being great either. But I will keep an eye on the fact that if the Broncos lose this game, they're done for mine. And I feel like they would understand that. They have to come into this game with that mentality. They need to come in with this is it. If we lose this, we're gone, because they should be fired up and motivated for that. But this is a premiership hangover right now. They won the premiership last year. That's all well and good, Broncos fans. But this right now is looking like the peak of a premiership hangover. And I just don't know a way around it right now for Brisbane. So I'm going to go South Sydney, but this game could go either side 100%. Now, in regards to the Brisbane Broncos, they're in 12th position on 12 points, which is equal with the Bulldogs, the Storm, and the Raiders. Now, the Bulldogs and the Storm, they both get a bye. So that means that the Broncos are actually going to be in 13th position. They're on minus 66, whilst the Bulldogs are on minus 97. The Storm are minus 2. They are 4 points away from the Tigers, Cowboys, Rabbitohs. So that means if the Broncos win this game, they would go back above the Bulldogs into 12th position. But the Storm are minus 2, so you would have to win this by 64 points or more to go above the Melbourne Storm, and good luck with that one. So realistically, with a win here, you are just going to be situated in 12th. The only way you can go up is by winning 65 points or more, and that's not happening. So with a win, you go to 12th, but at least you have 6 wins, which is technically equal with the Rabbitohs, who are the one situated in the 8 right now, but that will change because the Cowboys are in 9th with 8 wins. Broncos with a loss here, you're already below the Bulldogs due to the fact they've got their bye, so you're in 13th position. The Raiders have a minus 98. They play the Eels. So you're minus 66, they're minus 98. That's a 32-point swing. So if you lose this game by 16 points and they win their game by 16 points, you would drop into the bottom 4. You would be in 14th position. And then the Titans, they get to play the Tigers. And if the Titans are to win, they can jump you. So they're on minus 83 right now. If that's actually less of a switch than the Raiders. So that's only a 17-point swing between the Broncos and Titans right now. So if, say, the Broncos did lose by that 16-point margin, the Titans would just need to win by 2 points, and then they would go above the Brisbane Broncos. So the Broncos could go down as far as 15th position. The Raiders and the Eels both play each other, so the Eels can't jump them, and their points differential is just horrid at minus 152. But the lowest, and it is actually a relatively likely scenario. It is a relatively likely scenario because that Titans-Tigers game, you just don't know what's going to come from that, especially with Tigers injuries and now Appy going to Origin. And with the Titans getting a win last week and looking pretty solid defensively comparatively to recent years, that is an interesting game on Sunday, and you don't want to have to rely upon that to not go into third last. So the highest they can go is where they are, in 12th, really. But the lowest they can go is, realistically as well, 15th position if the Raiders get enough of a win and the Titans, they win themselves. So that's the Broncos right now. On the other side, you've got the South Sydney Rabbitohs, who are in 8th position on 16 points, plus 44 on the points differential. The Cowboys are on 16 points as well, with a minus 13, and the Tigers are on 16 points as well, with a minus 78. Now, the Cowboys have the bye, so the Rabbitohs are actually currently in 9th position with this bye. If the Rabbitohs are to lose this game, they really want the Titans to win, really, because otherwise the Tigers will jump them with a win. The Rabbitohs can't drop any lower than that, though, because they've got a 4-point gap between the 10th place team and the 11th place team. So the Rabbitohs, with a loss here, would at very maximum be in 9th position, but if the Tigers win, they would go to 10th position. And they would be the only team on 16 points. They'd be separated from the rest of the pack on both sides. But if the Rabbitohs win this game, well, the Knights have a bye, so forget them. The Sharks, they're on 18 points with a plus 62. You would need the Sharks to lose and you to win, and you would also need an 18-point swing, which is entirely possible. The Sharks play the Warriors on Saturday. So that you can go into 7th position there. Again, the Knights with their bye, forget it. And then the Dolphins are plus 77. So you would need a 33-point swing between your game and the Dolphins game against the Roosters. So that is actually still an entire possibility too. So I feel like the highest that you could go is into 6th. And the reason why I'm not including Manly on their 18 points, they've got a +1 17 points differential. So you would need essentially, no, Manly got a bye, so you definitely can't do it. So yeah, the highest you can go is 6th because the Knights have a bye, so you cannot jump them, but you can technically jump above the Sharks and the Dolphins. It just comes down to their games, and there is still some points that need to be made up on the points differential for that, but 6th is still absolutely in the equation, and that would make a lot of sense considering that on attack and on defense, they are in 6th or equal 6th on both sides of the ball. So yeah, a win here is not a loss here is not detrimental, and a win here is not, you're guaranteed for anything because we've still got another 12 rounds to go here. But a win is very, very seriously needed because you will drop out of the 8 and you don't want to have to rely upon just, coming back strong at the end of the season, which obviously you want anyway, but you don't have to rely upon it. You want it to be in your own hands and you just need to keep on winning. This Broncos team is very vulnerable right now and it'll really hit you for 6 if you were to lose this game. If you were to lose this game, it would hit you for 6. But all right, guys, let's get to the chat. Let's fire up. The game starts in 25 minutes' time. Obviously, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. And don't forget, if you love your football, it's going to be a big stream tomorrow morning as we've got Mexico taking on South Africa in the first game of the FIFA World Cup. Officially, looking forward to that one. We've already had a whole heap of people coming through that stream already. And we've also got a couple of hours after that game finishes, the South Korea taking on Czechia game, which we'll be live for. We're pretty much going to be live for pretty much every World Cup match, lads. We'll pretty much be here for every game. So definitely get excited for that one because I definitely know that I am. Clyde says, let's go. Lorenzo says, can the Broncos pull off a miracle with a 19-year-old in centres and all the Origin players off? Yeah, well, let's also not pretend like Verhoeven hasn't played a couple of games this season already, but let's not pretend the Rabbitohs don't have players out themselves. So they've got no Cameron Murray, they've got no Campbell Graham, they've got no Matty Duffy, they've got no Sean Kepi, who's a regular part of their team. They've got no Latrell Mitchell. They've also got, as we know, they've lost Jaira, God bless his soul. Who else are they missing right now? Is Jamie Humphries on the bench? Jamie Humphries is on the bench. No Jackie Whiten, like I was saying before. The Rabbitohs still have plenty of outs themselves, so I don't think that this would be a miracle win by any stretch of the imagination for the Broncos. It would be a good win against a team that's still competing around that top end of the table, but this Rabbitohs team is still 3 losses in a row post that Sharks game. They are due a win, but I guess so are the Broncos due a win after 5 losses in a row. These two teams are not in good form. These two teams both have players out, so I think we need to settle down in regards to calling this pulling off a miracle for the Brisbane Broncos. Up the Gold Coast Titan says, my gut is telling me to tip the Broncos, my head is telling me to tip Rabbits. That's exactly how I feel. That's a great way to put it. My gut is telling me to tip the Broncos, but my head is telling me to tip the Rabbitohs, so I'm tipping the Rabbitohs, but gut feelings are always there for a reason. Jake says, saw the replay of the NBA playoffs. Yeah, it was crazy. Brenton says, man, I hope this is a good game and not just an error fest. Well, the Rabbitohs are the second least amount of errors in the competition, so you'd expect them not to have an error fest, and the Broncos are up there. But I don't feel like this should be an error fest. Adam G says, go Broncos. You're not allowed to support a team, Adam G. Listen here. You're not meant to be supporting any team. Hold on a second. You're not the referee today, though. But Ashley Klein is in the bunker. Ashley Klein is in the bunker, Broncos fans. Watch out. Watch out. Grant Atkins is your referee, but Ashley Klein is in the bunker. The bull man. Watch him. He's a sneaky character. He is. He's a sneaky character. And he says, evening, everyone. I think the Rabbitohs get it done for Jai. Yeah, I did see that Jai was added to the team list on Team List Tuesday. He was a part of the extended reserves. Obviously, a very nice thing there that the Rabbitohs did. And I feel like I think the Broncos have got him on their jersey or something like that because he played for the Broncos, then the Titans, and then he went to the South Sydney Rabbitohs. So, yeah, God bless Jairo. We've spoken about that. And, it's really nice to see that the game as a whole is coming together for him with July in July. And, these two teams are representing nicely as well. I'm sure the Titans and Rabbitohs will do something when we get there. Matthew says, can see it as doing a 52-10 again. Eels? What do the Eels have to do with this, Matty? What do the Eels got to do with any? What are the Eels? But about the squeals, what? They got nothing. They got nothing here. What are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about the Vegas games. Okay, yeah, we're going to slap them by 52. Yeah, of course. Well, we did that at Combank by 52, so I'm feeling like in America, potato, tomato, I'm thinking 100. Leanne Ford getting around the Broncos. Nay says, g'day all. Don't forget to give the bloke a thumbs up. You pack of bludgers. Yeah, smack the thumbs up. Brenton says, we're second in attack. That's crazy considering last year. Well, it's not really. I get where you're coming from. It's not really because you've got Justin Holbrook, who was an attacking coach, and he got rid of Adam O'Brien, who's now gone to the Bulldogs, and they've gone from really, really bad on the attack last year to just absolutely pathetic this year. Imagine going, their defense last year was number one, but their attack was the one that always struggled, and that was always what we were talking about. We thought that was bad. Ho, welcome Adam O'Brien. He's going to teach you about what bad is attacking-wise. This year is even worse than last year by a long way. Last year's attack was just pathetic. This year, it's even more pathetic by a long, long way. The Bulldogs have scored 233 points this year through 13 games. So the Titans have scored 220 with their problems, but they only need to score 13 points against the Tigers, and because they played 13, the Titans play 12. They need to get 13 points, and they go above them. If that is the case, we all know about the Titans' problems attacking-wise this year. The only team that will be below the Bulldogs on attack is the Dragons. The only team. Even the Eels have scored more points than them. And again, if the Titans score 13 points against the Tigers have scored more points than them, and we know how heavily critical I've been on the Titans' attack this year. And that's how poor the Dogs' attack is. So, whilst I get where you're coming from, the Titans, the Knights were just absolutely dreadful on the attack last year, well, we can see that Holbrook, who is a known attacking coach, has come in, and we can see Adam O'Brien has gone, and he was awful here, and then he was awful there. Awful here, and awful there. Glenn says, agreed, injuries have ravaged the Rabbitohs, such a talented team, though. Absolutely, but it comes down to the fact that their strength and conditioning is obviously not correct. It's not right. Edison says, I also decided to keep Harry Kane and Mbappe. A bit worried, though. I don't know why. A bit worried, though. 4:50 p.m. MMA says, I'm currently in Vietnam. So that's why the time zone is always different to you. It will always be different to you. And I'm actually considering, this is true, by the way, in about 1 month time, I might be going to Kazakhstan for about a month. And I'm serious, too. I know it's a random country, but I'm serious. I might be in Kazakhstan for about a month from midway through July. So that'll be interesting to be streaming from Kazakhstan. Gee whiz, we're going to be fired up for that. We'll be fired up. But yeah, the game starts in 15 minutes time. 15 minutes time. But Kane and Mbappe, I've got Kane. Croatia are an older team, and I think that he can do something there. They just won 3-0 this morning over Costa Rica, and they've got a pretty easy group outside of that. So I'm fired up on Kane. I can't remember. I've got Irankunda from Australia. I'm very excited about Nestori Irankunda. And then my other striker, I've got Erling Haaland as my 12th man bonus. And who was my other striker? I think I might have gone Oyarzabal from Spain. Yeah, I went Mikel Oyarzabal from Spain. He's going to be unreal, and he scored a goal the other day in that Spanish game as well. So he's going to be their main talisman, their main man for the. He's going to be the main man for the striking for Spain. Thank you. Jason says, at least Adam G is not reffing this game. Well, I'd prefer it than Ash Klein. But then again, I like Grant Atkins. I do. I don't mind Grant Atkins in comparison. Jumar says, Rabbits should be top 4. They've got Wayne Bennett, one of the most successful and respected coaches in rugby league history. Well, there's no such thing as should. Let's slow it down on the word should. Teams get what they deserve and get what they earn. And unfortunately, the Rabbitohs are not there. And unfortunately, you've got to say that the Rabbitohs' injuries are very, very specific to their club over a consistent basis now. So that is a problem in regards to their organisation. They don't have the right strength and conditioning right now. That is a part of the game. Just because they've got injuries does not mean that we take away the responsibility and the accountability of the team as a whole. So no, they shouldn't be in the top 4 because they don't have the right processes off the field right now to prevent all these injuries, because there are clubs that don't have a lot of injuries. Look at the Panthers every single year. They don't really have injuries. They've got their strength and conditioning right, and look at how good they are. You know, so yeah, the point matter is that is still a part of the on-field process. That is still a part of the team in general. The Rabbitohs should not be in the top 4. They should be exactly where they are in 8th position right now, because that is what the results have shown. So no, I bite back at that. Like I said, if they didn't have the injuries, which they do, but if they did have the injuries, I'd be pretty happy to put them in that top 4. I'd say that they probably would be there, but the word should is not to be used. No way. There's no the word should is just not right. Caleb says it's at 7:50 p.m. for me. Again, I'm in Vietnam, mate, so the time zone is different. And he said 100%. I hate the Broncos, Edison says. Fair enough. Dasmate says, why is Hayes Perm on my screen in 2026? Because he's just here because he wants you to know that he's still existing, mate. He wants to fire up on behalf of Dasmate. It's really nice to see that Dasmate's back, by the way, not Westmate or Haha Mate or Up Cronulla Mate or whatever it was. Well, at least, hopefully you don't lose the bye this week. Hopefully you don't lose the bye, otherwise it'll be bye, mate. Bye-bye. Dasmate says, wait, so you tell me the Broncos have chosen a liar to lead them. Why is Adam Reynolds not sticking to his word? Yeah, look, really disappointing, if I'm honest with you. Adam Reynolds, really respect him as a player. But he did say that if he lost to the Titans, that he may as well retire. So really wondering why he's playing here today. I know he's retiring at the end of the year, but he said he would retire after the Titans game, may as well retire now. Really wondering why he's not sticking to his word and is deciding to play for the Broncos this week. So, yeah, really trying to sweep that one under the carpet. Not going to let him. I'm going to rise that carpet up. I can see it. You can't sweep it under the carpet. I can see it. I can see what you said. Pack your bags, son. Gee whiz, why the suitcase is not packed for Adam Reynolds? Why the suitcase is not packed for Adam Reynolds? I'm starting to feel like this is a lie. Starting to feel like this is a lie. And says, I don't know why he said that, because I'm up it. Glenn said, I can't see the Broncos make the top 4 this year. Schedule's too tough. The Broncos, right now, probably shouldn't even make the 8. If they don't win this game, the Rabbitohs will separate the top 8 from the Broncos by 2 full wins. And again, the Broncos have a pretty tough schedule after this. A really tough schedule after this. If they lose this game, it is a 2-win gap. And the Broncos will have lost 6 games in a row. So whilst I'll never write kind of any team off, and I still feel like as long as your name isn't the Dragons, you technically could still make a run to make this 8. There are still teams like the Titans and the Eels, and I wouldn't necessarily say the Raiders right now, but the Raiders have to win this game this week. But things can change very quickly in the NRL, and if you go on a run now, then fantastic, you've still got time. But if you lose this round and you're in the bottom 4, again, the Broncos would probably be in the bottom 4 by the end of this if they lost this one by 10 points or more. The Raiders definitely could win that game enough by the Eels. And if the Titans win by enough against the Tigers, they've gone to 3rd last. I think that if they lose this game, it's time to start writing them off. Forget top 4 right now, and Broncos fans shouldn't be thinking about top 4. I can tell you something they should be thinking about: losing to 3 of the bottom 4 teams. 3 of the bottom 4 teams. Yes, and I don't think they've even played the Raiders. So 3 of the bottom 3 teams. But that's the only 4 they should be thinking about right now, not top 4. They shouldn't be thinking about top 4 right now. Dano says, bro, the Panthers are first. No, unfortunately, they're not. No, unfortunately, they are currently situated in 3rd last. Yeah, in 15th position. No, it's really disappointing from the Panthers, considering how good they've looked at points this season and throughout the entirety of the season. The only loss they had was the Bulldogs, but yet the NRL decided to put them in 3rd last. So, no, look, this is a serious channel, mate. There's no jokes, and we're deeply analytical, and I want you to deeply analyse the fact that the Titans are the greatest team of all time. And obviously, I'll only concede. I will only concede the Titans are not in first position if they lost last week, because surely that would mean that they wouldn't be there. But let me just have a look here. Let me scroll down. No, they did win. No, they won. So that does mean the Titans are on top of the table, and I'm actually quite offended that you think that we're not a serious channel here. I'm actually quite offended, and I think you need to apologise. I think you do. To insinuate that we lie on this channel about the ladder? Come on. Be serious with me. Be serious with me, mate. Don't be silly. You're being silly, Dano. You think the Titans are on top of the table? You're being silly. Dave says, have a great World Cup, man. You're going to be so tired for the next 6 weeks. Yeah, no, it's going to be tiring. It's going to be absolutely just raucous. I was so tired this morning, I didn't stream the England-Costa Rica friendly. The only reason I didn't do it was because it was a friendly. But I've been smashing out those early morning. But the time zone is still pretty good for the most part. Especially when it comes to the finals. Those finals are on at a lot better times because it'll be night time in America. Oh, no, actually. No, the finals might actually still be on a beneficial European times. It might still be early in the morning. Either way, though, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun World Cup. I'm looking forward to it. Dano says, check the ladder. Okay, yep. Looking at the ladder. Bang. Titans first. Thank you. Dano. Mark says, I'm on the Rabbitohs to score over 27.5 points. Hopefully another off day for the Broncos. Ooh, I've just missed that one. Whiskip says, out of Vietnam. Mate, it's flying. Unbelievable. Got a great view here in our train. It is a beautiful. That comment just skipped away. That comment just skipped away. Oh, there we go. Mark says, I'm on the Rabbitohs to score over 27.5 points. Yeah, don't mind it. Hopefully another off day for the Broncos. There's going to be 50 plus points in this game, surely. We're going to stop using the word surely because there are so many games that will go so far under when you just completely least expect it. Like Storm Roosters had no reason to be under 50 and yet there was only like 22 points scored in that game. And we're seeing that quite a lot lately. So Eels Bulldogs last week, they easily could have been 50 points scored each. They easily could have been 50 points scored each, and yet we got the dribble fest that we were able to witness. But at least it was a close game, but it's also dribble. Nace is over 2.5 in both for me. Tiger Hood says, the Rabbitohs are the Latrell Mitchell show. They can't do anything without him. It's harsh, but sure. Steven says, just the total match points of both teams be 41 to 50. You think both teams is going to score 41 to 50 points here? You think we're going to see between 90 and 100 points scored in this game? I don't know about that, man. I don't agree with that one. Get around you, just another human. Edson says, are you going to be streaming the UFC White House card this year? No, I won't be. Mr. Plumber says, I'll be live for the World Cup at that time. And then straight into the Titans-Tigers game. Like, we go on Sunday from Australia versus Turkey immediately into Titans versus Tigers. We have 4 streams on Sunday morning. 4 streams Sunday morning for me. Hold on one second. Let me get these matches up. Into the Titans Tigers. We've got 5 streams that we'll be live for. Oh, hold on. Where is it? Okay, let's get to there we go. Okay, so on Sunday we'll be up early for Qatar versus Switzerland, and then we've got Brazil versus Morocco, Haiti versus Scotland, into Australia versus Turkey, and then we go straight into the Titans versus Tigers. So no, I don't have any time to do that one. On Saturday, we've got Canada versus Bosnia and Herzegovina, and also USA versus Paraguay. I really hope Paraguay win. Oh, man, it would just really do me a great service, mate. I would be just over the moon to see the Americans get knocked out in the group stage of this World Cup because they yap and they yap and they yap. And I love America. I'm going to America next year. I love Chicago and I really enjoy America. But when it comes to football, they are the biggest gronks when it comes to just insulting Australia all the time. They don't even watch football. They don't even watch this sport. And yet the one country that they are consistently coming for is Australia. And it's like the disrespect that we're seeing for a country like Australia when we overperformed in that last World Cup fantastically. We really punched above our own weight. We gave it a great crack against France. We did lose 4-1. We led 1-0 at one stage. We gave it a great crack. But France made the final. They lost to Argentina in the final. I was pretty happy with how we tried in that game. Unfortunately, it didn't come through. But then we beat Denmark, who their main national sport is football, 1-0. Knocked them out. They were the big buddy surprise packet of the competition, but we knocked them out. And we also did away with Tunisia. And then we go and only lose to Argentina 2-1. And we had a chance to tie that game up in the last seconds of that game. And we pushed them all the way to the wire. And the only reason they were up 2-1 is because we gave them a free goal. Like, we have pretty good history in regards to that underdog spirit and that fighting spirit with Australia. And it just really ticks me off that we've got these newcomers here in USA that just because they're the home nation, now they think that they're the greatest team of all time. Had that work out for Qatar in 2022 and had that work out for South Africa in 2010. Home nation doesn't mean jack. So, yeah, I would really like to see teams put it past them. I love America, but when it comes to football, I hate ya. Edson says, you're going to be... No, I read that comment. Mr. Plummer says, is it just me or does it feel like everyone's NRL watch clock is a little bit messed up because of the Monday games? Yeah, I would agree with you, but that happens every single year. Jeremy says Johnson didn't score last game, so he's due for a double. Cotty says UNA can tell Duncan, Grant Anderson try scorers, buddy dub. Okay, so what try scorers will I go for here today? About 7 minutes to go into the game kicks off, guys. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Try scorers for the Rabbitohs today. I'm going to look in the back line here. I'm going to go with the bad boy Tallis Duncan in the centres. Tallis Duncan typically in the back row, but I'm going to look at a bad boy Tallis Duncan here in the centres to get over the stripe for the Rabbits. And then for the forwards... well, Davey scored his first try for the club in the last game, so I'm going to try and go away from him. Maybe a little bit of Ewan Aiken, but he's not an exciting player at the Rabbitohs. He used to be pretty decent at the Dragons back in the day. It was okay at the Dolphins, and now he's here at the Rabbits. Who do I really go here? Brandon Smith into the 9. Keon Kalamatani scored a couple of games ago. I'm going to go with Brandon Smith. I'm going to get in the big dog. The big dog, Brandon Smith, that's what I'm going to do. A little bit of a scoop from the 9. So I'll go Brandon Smith and Tallis Duncan for the Rabbitohs. And then for the Broncos, I'm going to... Jesse Arthur had an awful game last week against the Titans. Awful. Maybe he could find it this time, though. I'll go Jesse Arthurs to score for the Broncos. Again, he was dreadful last week, and the Titans actually pulled their offer for him on the basis that he was too lazy to get back to the Titans and whatnot, and didn't get back in time. So we said, see you later. Love that standard from the club, that if a player's going to muck you around, we're going to say, well, you can eat one. You're a backup for the Broncos as it is, Jesse, so I don't think that you have too much of a say. And the Titans, they're not really worried about not getting you, because at the end of the day, they pulled a contract, the contract offer. And so I'm going to go Jesse Arthur for a try here, despite my criticism for him. And then in regards to the forwards, good luck getting another contract there. But in regards to the forwards here, I think I'm going to go with the Brendan Piakura. I think I'm going to try out Brendan Piakura here. Jordan Rickey's back in. He's not usually a massive try-scoring threat, but he's been very good for the Broncos this year. I'm going to go Piakura. So I'll go for the Rabbitohs. Tallis Duncan. I've been going to Latrell Seagwalt for weeks now, and he hasn't done it. And I guarantee you Latrell does it this week, Seagwalt. But I'll go Tallis Duncan and Brandon Smith into the Broncos, Jesse Arthurs, and Brendan Piakura. That's who I'm going to go. Kura. Do you think Arrow tragedy will have a deep impact on the NRL? In what way? In what way are you suggesting? Are you talking like Alex McKinnon levels, or like what are you talking about in regards to the impact on the NRL? Lee Darkfire says, who would you say is the best referee of all time? Nobody. Rex says, your rant on ref Ashley Klein during Origins was hilarious, from a dumb American in Virginia. Look, again, if you're calling yourself a dumb American just because of what I was just saying in regards to the football, again, this is all just football banter and sporting banter and whatnot, but again, I love America, just know when it comes to the old football, as in soccer for the FIFA World Cup. But yeah, no, it's funny. And that's all passion, man. That's all what it is. I do need to keep myself in line a little bit more with the fact that we are growing as an audience and there is a lot more people watching. I do need to keep myself a little bit more in line. But that is just how I'm going to react to the Titans and also for Queensland and whatnot. But I've also reacted like that even to refereeing incidents that have nothing to do with any of my clubs. So the reason why you guys come here is due to the authenticity. You can clearly see that when I've been streaming for all these years now, there's no way that you can hide who you are when you are live stream for years and years and years. And I think you guys have a pretty good understanding of my intention and who I am overall. And that's why you come here, right? You come here for the excitement and the honesty and what I say. You don't have to agree with what I'm saying, but it's still honest from my perspective. And that was honest in regards to my perspective of what I was saying about Ashley Klein. But this is the thing that people don't understand. I am not insulting Ashley Klein as a person. I'm insulting Ashley Klein as a referee. There is a very, very clear, distinct difference there. And the same thing goes with players. The only player that I'll criticize his character is Zach Lomax. And that's because of personal instances, plus also how he shows off the field. Outside of that, you're not... When you criticize a player for their playing ability or the ref for the reffing ability, you are insulting the NRL player for their on-field persona and their on-field performance, right? So, for example, Jerome Luai is a knob on the field. He's a knob on the field for New South Wales back in the day and really gets under the skin of all the other players. He's an entertainment factor. But off the field, he's a fantastic bloke. There's nothing wrong with him. So when you criticize Jerome Luai, you're criticizing the NRL player Jerome Luai. You're not criticizing Jerome Luai as the human. Same thing goes with Ashley Klein. He is a human at the end of the day. So, yeah, it's all banter and a bit of fun on this side, but that is simply directed at the NRL referee, not the actual person behind it. And again, people mix this up all the time in regards to it online. Our full-time story says, team with random fans versus notorious chokers. What a battle we have on our hands tonight. Fantastic battle. Dave Watson says, I'm thinking your Titans will win this week, mate. Tigers definitely frauds. Mate, the Titans might never lose a game ever again, David. Come on, be serious. Be serious. Might never lose a game ever again. Jim Master, I like watching NRL 360. I don't mind Brace's opinion on a lot of things. Yeah, I like at the very least that he does seem the most authentic in regards to how he carries himself. But also, with that being said, there's a caveat there, is that it depends on what player he's talking about, because some players he manages. So that will obviously alter the authentic responses that he gives. So the Rabbitohs and the Broncos are walking out of the field here. This is an all-white jersey for the Rabbitohs. All white. Am I missing something, or is that like a shirt over the top of it for Jai? Oh no, I think it's a shirt over the top for Jai Arrow. God bless him. Jim Marcelo, that's right. Peter Oracori says, I'm a Bronco and really want them to win at all costs. If they lose, I'll be very upset. Well, you're a fan. That makes sense. Do we got Wars versus Cowboys? No, Warriors Cowboys isn't this week. This matchup this week for the Warriors is the Sharkies. When is your baby due with Kinney? I messaged Ken about that. That's funny. Laurie says, hi, Blaze Breakout team. Was thinking about this game. Should name it Jairo Cup whenever they play each other. Well, are we forgetting that Jairo also played for the Titans for many years? Or he's actually our best player. We did get the spoon that year, but he was actually our best player. Yes, that American commentator at the World Cup was talking mad shit about Australia. Quite literally every American content creator is talking shit about Australia right now, man. And that's why you guys need to be here, because I'm telling you, we'll have a lot of Americans on our stream. You need to be here for the Australia versus USA game. It'll be, I think, 5 a.m. your time. Yeah, it is 5 a.m. your time next Saturday. So we have our first game this week on Sunday against Turkey in Vancouver, and that'll be at 2 p.m. your time. Brilliant time slot. And then next Saturday is when we take on the Americans at 5 a.m. And that is a very, very crucial game to our World Cup campaign too. Even a draw will suffice in regards to probably getting through the group. But it's a very, very tricky group that we have. But it would just be really, really nice. Oh, that's Jai didn't love that. Just as the camera came on him, he had a massive snot come out of his nose there. God bless him. But yeah, you want to be here, mate, because it's going to go through the roof for sure. Mitchell Smith says, it would be so satisfying for the US to get knocked out in the groups. Oh, my goodness me, that sounds sexy to me. Tyron says, this is it, the day the Broncos start their winning streak and never lose a game again this season. Okay, let's be serious, Tyron. Stop coupling me with the Titans, because we all know the Titans is legit. Yours, not so much. Just Burger says, hi, bro. Up the bunnies. Get around you. Good luck. Mark Schwarzer slapped him down. Yeah, Schwarzer did slap him. The Bunny says, I'm confused as to why Wayne Bennett does not put Ewan Aiken on the centre and not Talis Duncan back on his original position, which is second rower. Well, Ewan Aiken's getting a little bit older now, and I think the centre position, you want to have a bit more of that young freshness vibe in regards to the speed that Talis Duncan can bring. I think it's the right decision. I think it's the right decision to have Talis Duncan there rather than Ewan Aiken. Stats and rants. Stats and rants. That's another human. That's what we do. Stats and rants. Going to crack a Bundaberg for today's game. What's everyone's drink of choice? Coke Zero, mate. I'm getting awkward. So I'm going to be up at 1:30 in the morning to stream Mexico versus South Africa, so I will not be drinking, that's for sure. I will not be drinking, that's for sure. Dasmo says, haven't agreed with anything you've said in 6 years. Well, good, Dasmo. That's exactly what I want. Jay Ross says, what do you think about splitting the Tigers and Magpies up? Sending the Magpies back west. That's where all the talent is coming from for them, and let's send the Tigers down to Tasmania for a new team. Tasmania has no rugby league audience. They're currently getting an AFL team. They're about to ring the bell here with Jai Arrow. God bless him. But the Tasmania is about to get an AFL team. You are not adding in a rugby league team to compete with that right now. Tasmania is absolutely AFL dominated. So that wouldn't make a great deal of sense to mine. We definitely need to get in that New Zealand team in regards to the South Island, New Zealand, to create that rivalry with the Super Rugby being absolutely in the drain, in the mud. You need to capitalise on that. And I just don't see any purpose to separating anybody right now. The NRL have already adamantly said they're not removing any teams from the competition. They're only looking to expand when they need to, which they want to get to the 20-team league by 2032. They won't be splitting any teams. It's not going to be happening. They've obviously got Papua New Guinea coming in. They've got Perth coming in. I think that Adelaide would be a chance before we saw Tasmania. I would even argue that there would be another Melbourne team before we saw Tasmania. I would definitely say there is a Western Corridor Brisbane team that is in the works in Ipswich and whatnot that they've spoken about. The South Island New Zealand team. There's a lot of different avenues. They're not going to be touching New South Wales. There's no way. You know, the Bears are even lucky to be in this competition as a merger on the basis that they were able to link up with Perth. If Perth didn't agree to it and they didn't want to do it, then the Bears would not be back in. So, no, I disagree in regards to Tasmania, especially with the fact that the AFL is getting a team in there by 2027. But outside of that, it just doesn't really make a great deal of sense in a lot of ways. Mr. Plummet says, Ezra Mam likes the sound of his own voice. Sure, don't know why that happened, but sure. All right, well, the game's going to kick off here, guys. It's going to be the Broncos. They actually, not the Broncos, the Rabbitohs, who are in all-white kits. They're going to kick this ball off, so it is actually just an all-white kit here today for the Rabbits. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you are new around here, and tomorrow we've got the Dolphins versus the Roosters, and early morning tomorrow, like I said, South Africa, Mexico, and also South Korea versus Czechia. Third tackle coming up for the Brisbane Broncos. Jordan Ricky with a strong run to the 25. Third tackle. Nikhil says, rants and bans is it. That's exactly right. That is exactly right. Josie passes Jai jersey looking clean. Nikhil says, oh, yeah, I've seen the numbers. This is going to be a historical game. Trent from Punchy, that's a throwback. Trent from Punchy. Jai nearly went out of character on 9 interview. Jess says, I popped on for the England football stream. Did you not do it due to late start? No, I just needed a bit of energy. I just need to get myself onto that time schedule. So that's going to be Jai Gray grabs his ball here at the 15. First tackle. We streamed a lot of the international friendlies recently, and I thought, look, I can probably miss this one because it is a friendly. I think England will confidently win it, and it was on at a really, really early time for me, and I just needed to conserve my energy for a big weekend here, and the next weekend's a big weekend, and we've got a lot of streams coming up, so I thought that I could just probably miss that one and get rocking and rolling for the World Cup, but yeah, I was originally meant to do it. But I just decided I think it's better to... It's more about quality than quantity, really. I can do quantity, but I knew that I needed it. I needed a break last night and have a good sleep. Harokupa says, Jai, name on the back of the white jersey means we got you back. I love it. So they're going to kick this ball away. Ashton Gray down to the 10 and the Broncos. They'll now bring it out to Sai Katapani. He's at the 15. And that'll be first tackle for Brisbane. Justberg getting on the Bunnies. Ty says, got on Broncos as well because price doesn't seem to match, but would love if the Bunnies got behind us and won. What's the price? I don't even know. Second tackle now for Brisbane at the 20. What's the price for the Broncos in this one? Again, gut's telling me Broncos, but my head's telling me Rabbitohs, so I'll tip with my head, but gut usually does usually come off here on this channel for some reason. Fourth tackle here at the 45, 2.5 minutes in. Gone for the Broncos today at a good price of 3-1 here in the UK. Think South are rightly favourites, but I don't think there's a certainty. Yeah, again, Broncos have lost their last 2 games in a row to last and second last, but this would just be such a random Broncos win to win this game. It would really hurt the Rabbitohs season, though, if they lost this for their 4th straight. It's such an important win for both these teams here. Alex Johnson gets his ball to 15, and he'll bring it out to the 20 on first tackle. A hard watch for me. It brings back so many memories of hubby. God bless you, Jez. The Bunny says, why are Americans talking shit on us during soccer, during football? Because they want to really big note themselves as the big dogs of the group, because everyone knows who actually watches football that Turkey should be the better team here. They should be the number 1 team in the group, and they really want to... You know what Americans are like, man. They're very confident. They're very arrogant. They're very strong-minded about their opinions. Oh, Dave Fafita, what a run to the 35 fit tackle. They're very, very adamant about their opinions, which Australians are, but we're a lot more loose, laid back about it in a lot of ways. 1 second. That's going to drop down here at the 10, and the Broncos will get this ball about 8 minutes out here from their own line first tackle. So, yeah, we're the easy pickings, but it's because they don't know about football. They don't know what we've done in World Cups prior and how we've really gone toe-to-toe with some of the big dogs. You don't want to give Australia this underdog status. It's like with Queensland. You don't want to fuel the fire of a team that has competed before at a pretty quality level for our standards anyway. USA think that they're a part of like this big standards of your big-time teams, which they just simply aren't. So that's why they utilize us as a platform to push their narrative further. Fifth tackle here at the 30. And Adam Reynolds, he's going to whack this ball down here to the 20, where Jai Gray will get it. And he's going to bring it out to the 30, to the 35 on first tackle. So the Rabbitohs are going to have the better field position at the moment. I hope they auction those jerseys after the game to help with Jai's GoFundMe. I'm sure they will, mate. I'm sure they will. Margella says, is this actually the first time that there are more Broncos in the New South Wales Origin team than Queensland? How things have changed? I think so. And Reece Walsh is a bit of a token selection too, to be honest with you. He is a bit of a token selection because he hasn't earned it. You cannot tell me that Reece Walsh has earned his position in that Origin team based off of form this year. And he's not getting in right now. So it is a bit of a token. That's a forward pass there from the Rabbitohs. That was awful. So the Broncos will get this ball to 38 on 4th tackle. You needed a lot better out of that. Lachlan Hubner will give that one away. Who do you think will win this game? Heads telling me Rabbitohs. Heads telling me Rabbitohs. Guts telling me Broncos. Naughty Neil says, is rugby union or league the biggest sport in Australia? League by a long, long, long way, Naughty Neil. Long, long, long way. Union maybe 25 years ago. But the Wallabies have really... People still support the Wallabies, but the domestic rugby competition prevents rugby from really being able to go toe-to-toe with it. The domestic rugby competition has been asked for so many years, man. Even when the Brumbies won it, no one really cared. When the Waratahs won it, it wasn't too massive, but it was like big enough. When the Reds won it, like it was big enough, but it wasn't the same standard if the Broncos won, or when the Waratahs win, when the Rabbitohs win, or or those kind of Sydney teams, I can promise you that Canberra out to the left-hand side of the Broncos. They're away just like Katapani the 35, the 30. He's still moving here. He'll be taking out the 25 on third tackle. The Brumbies in Canberra are pretty equivalent. I think that Canberra really love their rugby union, though. And now the Broncos will be at the 20 on fourth tackle. Are we thinking this game? I was late to the stream, sorry. My try scorers, I went Brandon Smith and Talis Duncan for the Rabbitohs. For the Broncos, just like Katapani, Jordan Rookie, he'll be 5 metres out. For the Broncos, I went with Brendan Piakura. And I can't remember for the Jesse Arthurs. Adam Reynolds now. He's going to kick this ball up into the air. Chase through. Broncos knock it back. Who's going to get it? There's going to be a knock on there for the Broncos and knock on for the Rabbitohs, but double knock on. So Rabbitohs will play the ball at the 10. Prediction League is going to take over rugby union in the next 10 and 20 years by the way the NRL is producing every year. What? The NRL is way above union right now in regards to Australia. Are you talking about worldwide? Worldwide, I will disagree with you. Second tackle. Laurie says, Americans are cocky and competitive talk. The talk, I remember Fear Factor. Big ass dude was winning the physical stuff, but lost in the final to a little lady eating chili. Yeah, that's funny. I remember Fear Factor. What a great show. Alex Johns with a great offload here at the 35. He'll get this ball to the 40 now on third tackle with Latrell Seagwell. Yeah, I remember Fear Factor was so good back in the day. Fourth tackle at 50. Chelsea passes league worldwide has a long way to go compared to Union. 1,000,000%. It's not 10, 15 years is ridiculous. 6 again here for the Rabbitohs at the 40. Okay, first attacking opportunity of the game. Francis and B.R. is getting around the Broncos. Does Wayne Bennett know that Peter Mamazelis is still signed? Why does he keep playing garlic? Mamazelis on the bench? No. Is Mamazelis on the bench? Well, he must be injured then if he's not here. He must be injured. I'm sure he's not just not being selected. Third tackle at the 25, David Fafita. For Voida. Surely South Africa would be gun at league if that ever became popular. They absolutely would be, man. But South Africa actually made league illegal back in the day. Adam Reynolds with an intercept. Adam Reynolds is away here. Can Jai Gray get across to him? Because Lachlan Hubner might actually. Reno, he's going to get done by Lachlan Hubner. What a fantastic intercept by Reno, but he just got done over by Hubner. And what's with the Broncos? You're kidding me, Broncos. This is disgraceful. That is disgraceful from Brisbane. You've just had your halfback run 80 metres and all your players are walking up to get to the attacking 20. The ball hits the grass. That is disgraceful from Brisbane. 6 again here for the Broncos. And it's going to be Xavier Wilson at the 10s. It's going to be now second tackle at the 5. That is disgraceful from Brisbane. How nobody followed up their slow halfback in Adam Reynolds. Well done to Reno, even though he should be retired. But well done to Reno. But for every other Bronco, that was absolutely lazy. The Broncos are going to be 8 metres, 5 metres away from the line now, third tackle. That is just lazy there from Brisbane. They should have scored 1,000,000%. And now the Broncos will give it off to Preston Ricky. He'll be at the 10 on fourth tackle. I know, they all seem gassed this early in the game. Broncos will lose the ball, goes backwards though, and then they lose the ball, the knock on. They're going to actually say this is a knock-on against the Rabbitohs here. So the Broncos are going to get quite lucky. Oh, no, they are going to say this is a knock-on Broncos. Broncos, the fact that you are still 0-0 is astounding. Jared, that was embarrassing. Where is the support? Jesse Arthur is the only one there. Reynolds gets taken down here at the 15. The only one... They're going to challenge this here, I think. No, it is the Rabbitohs who challenged. I was right originally. They said it was a knock-on from South Sydney. Jesse Arthurs was the only one there. Well, that's gone backwards here from the Broncos. Playing this stage. He's just making a tackle. There's nothing wrong from Brandon Smith. This should be Rabbitohs ball. Yep. Knock on from Corey Pakes. Oh, stop it, Grant Atkins. Why are you saying he doesn't knock it on? Come on, man. You can clearly see that Brandon Smith is making a tackle and he's just lost the ball. So it's a successful challenge. I still find that really, really bad from Brisbane that we just saw. Thought the little gremlin retired. Can't believe the little gremlin's still going here, claws out, but he is. Nay says Bron chokes. Touchy got there faster. Jordan Ricky, not even running, by the way. Jordan Ricky, not even running. Jesse Arthur's the only one there. Every single other Bronco is walking. I'm looking at them all behind him. Every single Bronco was walking besides Jesse Arthur's. Mikey says, my Broncos definitely need to win. It's extremely tough being a Broncos fan. No team that has it harder than us. Yeah, I'm not biting to that shithouse comment. So that's going to be a penalty here to the South Sydney Rabbitohs. That will be a penalty, son. That'll be a penalty. 10 minutes gone in the first half, guys. 30 minutes to go of the first half. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're new around here. Is the Gremlin making 600k a year now? I don't know, but he's retiring at the end of the year. Half the Broncos just stood there and the other half just jogged. Disgraceful. Yeah. 10 minutes gone. Typical Broncos fan response, dearie me. Yeah, no, there's no way I'm biting to it. He's literally... I would have responded to him normally if he wasn't deliberately trying to go the sympathetic approach, but I know that he's going that approach just to grind us. It's just a rage bait comment, bro. That's why you don't reply to it too much. The Broncos go to the left-hand side, and now Keon Kalamatangi with a great run here, 20 metres out from the line. Yeah, poor Broncos after a premiership. You don't waste your time. Don't even waste your breath on it, lads. They go to the right, Ashton Ward, and now they'll be 15 metres away from the line. Brandon Smith is going for a little sneaky himself. He'll be at the 5, and then he'll get it across to Keon Kalamatangi, and Kalamatangi 8 metres away from the line, still moving, still grooving. Kalamatangi pushes away from a couple. And he'll now be 9 metres out. Fit tackle. Brandon Smith, short side. Dave Fafita kicks it through. It's going to be a dropout. Nice kick there from Dave Fafita. And Jai Gray comes in with a tackle to force him in the in-goal. Jesse Arthurs will become a case study of fumbling the bag. Not as bad as... Who is that? Daz, you'll know. What was the guy's name again? He played for the Lakers. Dennis Schroeder. That's right. Dennis Schroeder threw away how much again? Jeez, he threw up a lot of money. And the Rabbitohs will grab this ball at the 45. What on earth was that? But they luckily throw the ball back in the inside. And now Keon Kalamatangi is going to be 44 metres away from the line. Broncos, the fact that you're not leading this game after that breakaway is astounding. 84 million. Oh, Dennis Schroeder. If you guys want to know about someone who fumbled the bag, go Google Dennis Schroeder. Nate, have you had a good week? Have we got some good games this weekend? We've got a couple of good games this weekend. To be fair, Latrell Siegwald is going to be at the 23-20 on third tackle. The best game of the weekend is Dragons versus the Buy, Jess. Yeah. We've got Titans-Tigers, which is an interesting game. Sharks-Warriors should be a belter. Neither team really missing too many Origin players. Dolphins-Roosters, but all the Origin players are out of both teams. And then there's also Raiders-Eels, which I don't think many will be excited for. And that's going to come at the back here at the 20. Jai Gray picks it up. I don't think it's the 6 again. I think, it's just play on. I agree with the call there. Fit tackler at the 20. Oh, Spurs lost today, Adam G. That was just awful. Awful, man. They kick this ball to the right corner. I think he scored that. I think he's caught that. I think that's a try for Edward Corsi. Woohoo! That is a try time for Edward Corsi. He's gone up for this one above Josiah Kanapani. He's bobbled it to Lux. As long as this doesn't touch one of the arms of Josiah Kanapani, this is a try time. I don't know how he's pulled this one in. It's a good kick in a good area at the 20. And Edward Corsi's going to get up for it, well above Kanapani, as long as it doesn't touch one of the hands of Kanapani. Because I think Corsi is definitely going to get a grab to this first. But how does it go in regards to the hands of Kanapani up here? Oh, man, what do you call there? Do you say that's a strip from Kanapani, which he's illegally allowed to do? He's brought that ball back in here. Oh, does he bobble it there? This may not be a try. This may not be a try. I'm not too sure what they're going to call here. They did call it a try on field. There's multiple things to look at here. So when he goes up, Corsi and Kanapani, both hands on it. And then he brings it in here. I would nearly be okay with the top action, but it's the bottom one that he may bobble here. We're still waiting here. If Chester's would have tried and this is a 12-point try, Chester's try will always baffle me. That was the worst call of all time. It's been confirmed. I'm okay with it being confirmed on the top knock-on not being a knock-on. I'm okay with the top one. I would have liked to have seen more of a look into the bottom one, but I'm not mad at it because the original call was try. I don't know if you could have guaranteed that he dropped that ball, but we have seen far less not given as well. I'm okay with that. So they will get the kick here, and it will be 6-0 to the Rabbitohs, 14 minutes into the game. Andy, I wouldn't call him a bear, more like a kitten. Michael says, did he lose the ball on the way down? Yeah, he lost the ball on the way down, but he regathered it. He got it. He definitely regathers it. I am surprised they've called that a try, though. Like, they usually do look... For example, it's amazing to me how long we looked at that, how short we looked at that just then, but yet they looked at Keanu Kenny's try last week, which was a bona fide try from the start. They looked at Keanu Kenny's for dead set 4 to 5 minutes. They've looked at that for 30 seconds and said, okay. You know, and Keanu Kenny's was way less of any kind of conversation around a knock on than that. So why is it that last week you've looked for 4 to 5 minutes to try and find something wrong with it, but then this week you've just said, nah, it's okay. You know, and again, I'm not upset with the call. I actually think that the call's probably fine. I'm just really questioning the length of time that you tried to force finding... Oh, Jai Gray right through the line. Broncos, welcome back to the show. Jai Gray, left-hand side. Alex Johnson, that's going to be a TRY. Touchdown for South Sydney Rabbitohs and Broncos. This call comes on the back of you not having any energy in this game. You have come in lethargic. You have come in like you do not give a fuck. I'll be honest with you, because when Reno makes that intercept, he runs 80 meters down the field. He's got the littlest legs. It's like a... That's what Reno looks like when he's running. He runs 80 meters. The only person following up is Jesse Arthurs. Every other Broncos player was standing, walking, just looking completely lazy. You then proceed to lose the ball in that set when you could have easily scored a try if you spread the ball out left because players get up in the line. And then since then, the Rabbitohs have gone bang. They've gone bang. Broncos, you don't look like you care right now. This Brisbane Broncos team does not look like they care right now. Jai Gray has just gone whooshka right through your line there. Don't even know if he's been touched. And it's a 4-on-1. You have a 4-on-1 from the Rabbitohs right now. Jai Gray straight through. Reynolds too slow. Antonio Verhoeven going out to the right-hand side. I understand why he's going out, but that's a nice line there from Jai Gray. He had a 4-on-1. 4-on-1. Right through the line. This Broncos team right now do not look like they care. They don't look like they care. Brenton says, storm the field, new try scorer record. Yeah, Alex Johnson breaks the all-time try scorer record, beating out Alex Johnson. Jared says, congrats on AJ for breaking the try scoring record. And he says that defense was pathetic from the Donkeys. It all comes down to their energy in regards to the follow-up play on Adam Reynolds. And they'll make it 12-0 here, 24 minutes to go the first half. If any Broncos fan would like to disagree with me and like to debate what we've seen from the Broncos so far in this game, looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. Tell me right now the Broncos look like they care in this game. It's for Jai, Jimmy. Jets with a £2 donation says, what does he look like again? We need a replay. What does who look like again? Stefano Utukamanu. Oh, I called him for a try scorer last week, Jess, if you didn't hear. Yeah. Crazy, eh? Crazy. Thank you very much for the £2 donation. Broncos playing like Madge lost the dressing room. We're going down the Madge path again, are we? Is that right? Is that right? We're on to the Michael Maguire's fault, are we? We're back here again. Second tackle now for the Rabbitohs at the 20. Jared says, you're right, man. That set the tone for the Broncos tonight. 100%. Brunel says, Adam Reynolds' legs have had enough. Edson says, I'll debate with you. Broncos suck. I'm not going to be debating that, though. They go to the right to Vita Totola, and he'll be fourth tackle at 30. UK says, let's go, chair, bro. Appreciate you for tuning in. This could be a pants job. Potentially. Like, it's... Yeah, potentially. With the way the Rabbitohs have started out this game and with the lacking energy from the Brisbane Broncos, yeah. This would be the 6th loss in a row for Brisbane. And if they... You got to remember, they're only 17 points differential better off than the Titans. They play the Tigers on Sunday. And they're only 32 points separating them and the Raiders. And the Raiders play the Eels on Saturday. The Broncos, if they continue to lose, if they lose this game by, say, 30 plus points, if the Raiders and Titans both win, the Broncos will go into third last position. Just to real emphasize their situation right now. So let's stop talking top 4 and comeback material right now. You need to see them start to put a win, let alone a couple of wins, let alone a great amount of wins for them to even be in the conversation for top 8 as we currently speak. This isn't good enough at the moment. Adam Reynolds to drive his Barbie car in the field. Doubled down on Brizzy at 5.25. Oh, no, tied. Oh, no. A great run here from Johnston. It'll be third tackle here at the 15. So not a great set, but at least Johnston got him out of their own 10 for feeder. Oh, this is an awful set, actually, from the Rabbitohs. Edward Coase is going to be 4 tackle back at his own 12. Ryan says, so hard watching games during Origin, especially when only one team wants to be here. Right now, it does seem, at least the Broncos defended pretty well to stand. So Jamie Humphries will come on for Brandon Smith. Only an 18-metre gain on that set is really poor. They drop the ball here. Luckily, it goes backwards from Hayes Perham. And Jesse Arthurs, he'll bring this ball out now to the 30 on first tackle. Arthur Bunny says, who would have thought the Knicks would go 3-1 against the Spurs, and we all thought the Spurs would sweep them? We didn't think the Spurs would sweep them. No one in their right mind thought they would sweep them. Third tackle. I did think the Spurs would win the series, but I didn't think that... There's no world that the Spurs were ever sweeping them. Who's we all? Who's we? The Broncos will be taken down here at the 33 on 4 tackle. And Jordan Rookie. And Rookie's going to be at the 18. And they'll give it across to Reynolds. Reynolds off to Duffy. Good kick in a good area. Where's the ball? Who's got it? I don't know where the ball is. Rabbitohs have got it in their own in goal. I think this was dropped. Oh, it's a knock on here from the Broncos. No, it's a goal line dropout. Grant Atkins was calling it a knock on, and the touchies said no. Of course, he probably touches that first. Probably. All right. 20 minutes gone into first half. 20 minutes to go of the first half. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Don't forget, tomorrow morning, be here. South Africa, Mexico, and also South Korea versus Czechia. A short drop out. That's going to bounce over the sideline. Well done, Broncos. You're unreal, eh? You're unreal. You're brilliant. Broncos are going to let this ball bounce over the sideline. It's a good short little drop out here, but the ball bounces over the sideline. Unbelievable stuff. 19 minutes 50 to go here. Players needs to think about the fans who pay way too much to watch games. Family of 6. No, that's not really an... Anyway, it's going to be Rabbitohs ball here at the 15. No, that's not what the high... At the end of the day, the family still pay... No, sorry. Well, with all due respect, no, that's not really the high point of emphasis. That's such a random comment, by the way. That is such an incredibly random comment. It's such a random comment. Tal Sunga, that's just completely thrown me, that comment. Third tackle at the 42. That is such a random comment. That has completely thrown me. My brain's not even braining right now in regards to the randomness of that comment. 4 tackle here at the 45. Now you go to the left-hand side here. Fifth tackle here at the 40. I get what you're trying to get at, but it's just not... I get what you're trying to get. It's completely thrown me. So they're going to kick this ball down here to the 20, where the Rabbitohs will get it. Fifth tackle, and Broncos get it at the 20 on first tackle. That threw me for 6. That threw me into another dimension, that comment just then. Second tackle here. Based on the competition these two teams have been, the Spurs had a harder run than the Knicks. Cool. No one thought they were going to get swept. No one with any NBA IQ, basketball IQ, thought that the Knicks were getting swept in the finals. But I tell you, the Broncos are getting swept in this game. Knock on from Brisbane, and it's going to be Rabbitohs ball here at the 20. Well said, Benny. Shut up, mate. I know what he's trying to say, but it's just so, not... It's anyway, I'm not even going to go deep. I don't even know how to go deep into it. First tackle here at the 15. They go to the left to Jamie Humphries, and Humphries, he's going to be the one playing hooker at the moment with Brandon Smith off. First tackle here at the 13. I think they're trying to shape Humphries away from the halfback position, which makes sense to mine, because he wasn't a great attacking halfback for mine. He was a great defensive halfback, though. They go to the right, Ashton Ward over the top, and that's going to bounce here to Edward Corsey. Corsey back onto the inside, and it's going to be third tackle here at the 8. Cody Walker, he'll go inside himself. David Fafita, here's another try coming up. Yep, sir. 16-0 with a kick to come. Davey Fafita. Davey Fafita. Davey Fafita. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba. Too easy. Too easy. Big Davey scores back-to-back tries in back-to-back weeks. Oh, yeah, no, Miss Palmer's, I agree with you there. New York Knicks fans are like feral animals. They are. They really are. They really are, man. It's so sad to see people just wearing a Spurs jersey in New York and they're getting beaten to shit by their fans. Like, it's so sad. Hey, like, over sport, you know what I mean? Tyre says, yeah, GG South 30+. Titans running the world no matter what team they play for. Jared, you're spot on, mate. You're dead set spot on, mate. You're dead set spot on. 16-0 with a kit to come. 16-0. I get the Broncos have players out, but this effort stinks like it was the last few weeks. Yeah, but the Rabbitohs have players out. Got no Campbell Graham. They've got no Cameron Murray. They've got no Jack Whiten. They've got no Latrell Mitchell. There's more players. Sean Kepi, who's a part of their team. No Matty Duffy, who's been brilliant for them this year. They've got a lot of players out themselves, South Sydney. Tansy Douglas says, what are the Broncos doing out there? They don't look like they care right now. They don't look like they care. I will argue and say they do, but I'm saying from an eye test, they don't look like they care. But they definitely still do. Just to really clarify for people who think the players go out there and don't care, which is kind of a response to Benny. Because again, Benny, I understand what you're trying to get at, but it's just not really, it's not really got too much of a point. But the point is that they don't look on the eye test like they give a shit right now. It just seems like they're clocked out. This is a premiership hangover, and they're just trying to survive. They're just trying to survive to the end of the year at this point. Jess with a £10 donation. Get around your Jess. Appreciate ya. Over 2.5 first half of the Rabbitohs. Love it. I love it. I love it. Jess is on as per usual. As the usual. I reckon we should kick the Broncos out of the comp. Jimmy Masters, can we know how you can afford to chill overseas and still keep traveling? Does YouTube donors and members pay a lot for it? Well, I just vibe, mate. I do OnlyFans. I get my kid off on OnlyFans, mate. That's how we do it. Second tackle here at the 20. And now they'll get this ball, Ewan Aiken, here to the 30. I do OnlyFans and a little bit of corner work. Like, bro, how do you really think I'm going to respond to that, man? I'm not... How do you think I'm going to respond to that? Fourth tackle here at the 35. Yeah, I realised that was going to be happening there. Trust fund, baby. Absolutely not, man. I wish. But the Broncos, they'll get this ball now to the 20, to the 25 on first tackle. It's all OnlyFans, mate. Broncos moving like Liverpool this season. Liverpool was still a lot better than the Broncos. Second tackle here at the 25. As he said, it's true I've seen his content cost me a fortune. Well, that's the only way that Adsy D, who is a Broncos fan, can have some happiness this season, by watching my OnlyFans. That's the only way. Who is, as a Broncos fan, there's just no happiness at the moment, and obviously Queensland not happy in game one, so he needs to get his happiness somewhere, and it comes from my OnlyFans. Fifth tackle here at the 40. Titans will beat Tigers, Keanu Himi. Yeah, but that's obvious too, mate. That's going to be on OnlyFans as well, with the way that we're going to do a Malika. Jake says, what is the 3-digit number on the back of your debit card? 288. The same amount of numbers that the Titans are going to beat the Tigers by on Sunday. They go left-hand side to Ewan Aiken, and Ewan Aiken is going to be here at the 20 on third tackle. Chad says, Jim Blaze sells his trotter pics and dirty socks on OnlyFans. And bathwater, as that one girl back in the day did. Jack Gray, a Bella Delphine or some shit. Back in the day, she was on YouTube. I think she did something with Deadgy. I think she did something with Deadgy. She used to like, oh, they're away. Oh, Rabbitohs taking up the 40 on fifth tackle. And she was like selling her bathwater or something. Dude, you would have to be the saddest human being on the planet to buy shit like that. You would have to be the saddest person, because ultimately, think about it, right? Like, from her viewpoint, she doesn't even need to get into the bathtub. All you need to do is put water into like a bottle or like a tub or something like that, and then you can just claim that you were in it. You know, you could technically just fill it up on tap water and charge $200. Oh, knock on Broncos here at the 30. Knock on for the Broncos at the 30 from Antonio Vorhov, and the Rabbitohs are going to get back on the attack. Abella Delphine Soul Spittinger. Okay, let's not. This is getting wild now. Ugh. How could you get turned on by that shit, man? It's just wild to me. How do you get turned on by that? It's very some people pay for. The best one, Jared, is that people will pay, and this isn't even sexual. People will pay, I think it was like $100, $150 for air from another country. They'll pay like $100, $150 for air from Switzerland. You're just like, surely you're not actually that dumb. So it's going to be the Rabbitohs here. But the thing is that people surprise me every day. Second tackle at the 20 for the Rabbitohs. And they'll give it out to Cody Walker. And Ewan Aiken's now going to be at the 15. Gets the offload away. Cody Walker's flying. Gives it off to Tavita Totola. And Tavita Totola will be 5 metres away from the line. Third tackle. Regardless if it was real or fake, why? Why? Cody Walker to Keon Kolomatangi. And Kolomatangi is going to be 2 metres away from the line. Fourth tackle. I'm in the wrong industry. Absolutely. Cody Walker. Oh, that's a good pass from Cody. And there's Alex Johnson with a double. That's his second try. And Broncos, you're getting a bit of a fiddle up here. 22-0 to South Sydney with a kick to come. It was a really nice pass there from Cody Walker. Really nice pass there from Cody Walker. Well done, Alex Johnson, breaking the all-time try scorer record. Well done. He broke it for the first time in about 10 minutes. The last time the record for the all-time try scorer was broken was a whopping 10 minutes ago when he scored. I saw a YouTube channel buy that can of air, but that was for content. They could business expense that. Yeah. So ridiculous. Just so ridiculous. Put the cheese down for a 4-pointer, I feel. Yeah, I predicted him pre-game, but he's not on the field right now. It's Jamie Humphries. Other Bunny says, Alex Johnson, the greatest winger to ever play the NRL. Disagree. Greatest try scorer to ever play the NRL. Greatest winger is an absolute no for mine. But greatest try scorer in the NRL history, you can't deny that. 10 minutes to go here, the first half, guys. 30 minutes gone. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Nate says, I've seen a bloke sold his soul for $100 on Gumtree and his conscience got the better of him and he bought it back for like $50K. Oh my gosh. Your soul's not yours to give away. Jack Lewis says 3-1 on Broncos. What a pathetic bet and waste of money, useless rats. Okay, we've got the bettors getting up and at him now. Broncos fans are at him and the bettors are getting at him now. Gee whiz. Broncos, this is just absolute. This is what last week would have been if the Titans weren't giving up errors every single 2 seconds, by the way. My cousin Tavita Totola hasn't scored a try yet. Come on, cuz. It's because he's proper and doesn't usually score. UK says, lucky I got one bet on. Oh, they will get the conversion from the sideline. It's getting ugly, Broncos. Hey, Reno, about that retiring, you reckon... I reckon you maybe should have retired midweek just to save the embarrassment of what we're seeing in this game. Eden says, imagine being a Rabbitohs fan. Yeah, they're looking like winners right now. Edson, you know what? I commend you for doing your best to talk shit at the moment. Mind you, you're about to go below the Raiders without them even playing a game against the Eels yet. And if the Titans beat the Tigers, they'll go above you already based off of this score. But I commend that you're trying your heart out to kind of prevent yourself from the shit fest that is the Broncos right now. But the thing is that you need to be it's difficult to defend your team from this position. I have the benefit of the microphone, right? And I also have the benefit of watching every game, and I know how to twist the narrative and twist the story away from Titans being shithouse, and I can insult any team. It's not that their team is better than that our team is better than yours, but I can focus the narrative down a certain path that will benefit the Titans comparatively to this other team, right? But it's very difficult for you in this chat to be able to turn that narrative. So I commend that you're trying. But insulting the Rabbitohs as you're down 24-0 to them when you lost to last and second last in the previous 2 weeks and you're on a 5-game losing streak, about to be 6, and you also lost to, that's out the 4th from Rabbitohs. You also lost to Parramatta Eels at home, who have been the worst defensive team in the world this year. It's a tough task, mate. It's a tough sell. So I commend you. I commend you for trying. Where are the mods? Why? What do you need? What's happened? I know Mitchell's here. Dad's here. As he says, just want to see 50 so I can switch off for the rest of the year. Hey, but listen, Titans had 50 on them against the Sharks. And then, listen, we came out and smacked the Parramatta Eels by 50. I know that Eels team beat the Broncos. That not relevant, but I just wanted to bring that up. But the Titans conceded 50, and then they scored 50, which then nullifies the previous 50. Titans win the comp still. Yeah. See? Change the narrative. Out of the right-hand side, here's a chance for Brisbane. Jesse Arthurs. He's going to play. Trips up for the Rabbitohs. 4 tackle over the Broncos. 10 metres out. 4 tackle. And now they'll go to the left-hand side to Adam Reynolds. Reynolds now. And they're going to be 10 metres away from the line. Fit tackle. Knock on from Brisbane. Well done. That's what you'd love to see. That's exactly what you're liking to see. Yeah, that's right. Nikhil, mate, you're on fire. You are on fire. We do have standards here, Nikhil. You're right. You're on fire. Yeah. Barnes, you got to get timed out because... the fact of the matter is that they haven't seen the Thrifty 30 hit yet. You cannot talk about a Fetty Bomb. Captain's challenge here from the Broncos. This would just do me in. This would do me in if they lose this challenge here. That'd do me. There's nothing wrong with what Ashenwar's done there. Challenge unsuccessful. Well done, Broncos. Well done, Brisbane. Well done. That was spectacular. I'm never buying Thomas Duffy bathwater. Can't even believe that I've just read the comment, Thomas Duffy bathwater. XOP says, Wise vs Cowboys. Okay, so you're the one who asked this question about 20, 30 minutes ago. And my same response to you, mate, is that the Warriors do not play the Cowboys this week. The Warriors play the Sharks this week. The Warriors have nothing to do with the Cowboys right now. Why do you keep asking me about Warriors-Cowboys? There's nothing. They're not playing each other, man. What do you want from me? You want me to preview a game that doesn't exist right now? Like, why you keep asking me Warriors versus Cowboys? The Cowboys have the bye, and the Warriors play the Sharks. What are we doing? It's like me saying Perth Bears versus the Redcliffe Dolphins. It has no relevance right now, but we just keep on saying it. So they go to the right-hand side. Papua New Guinea versus bloody West Tigers. What a matchup. It's 2 years away, but, same vibes. Josiah Kotapani is going to be taken down here at the 15 on first tackle. 7 minutes to go the first half. Edson says, I hope Puma copyright you for your last name, Nikhil. Gee, he's trying. Jack Lewis says, Iraq national side could beat this uselessly donkey Brisbane side. Useless. Jack, how much money have you actually lost here today? How much money did you put on this Broncos team? Josh says, to be honest, if the Broncos lose, they aren't making the 8. If the Broncos lose, they'll probably be in third last by the end of the round. How much do you think the Warriors will beat the Cowboys by? Probably by about 60, 120, 182, 40, 300, which is what equals a 5-minute timeout. First tackle now for the Rabbitohs. They're going to beat the 30. 25 pound, but that's irrelevant. Oh, boy. That's... No, I'm not going to make that joke. Second tackle here at the 40 for the Rabbitohs. Keon Kalamatangi at the 45. Enjoy the minute for making me read that comment, Jeremy. What has he said? What did Jeremy say to get timed out? Ezra Mam is about to come on the field. That's going to come out the back here at the 40. That's a knock-on for the Broncos. So Rabbitohs will get the ball. The 42. Fresh set. He said, I don't know about Duffy bathwater, but I would hide out and sit... Okay, yeah, that's definitely deserved of a timeout. Yeah, no. I'd give him 5. Yeah, that's really... I'd give Jeremy 5 for that one. The rest of the chat doesn't need to know what he said. But I definitely... yeah. I got an advertisement when you were telling me off. I wasn't telling you off. I was just saying, what are you talking about? Are you drunk? What are we talking about Warriors versus Cowboys for? At the Bunnies, you'll never know what he said. Just know that it was an incredibly strange comment from Jeremy, and I feel like I lost IQ points reading it myself. And 6 again here for South Sydney. They're going to beat the 50 on first tackle. Nay says, Kaki, no. Nikhil says, one day I'll be an honorary mod here. Jazz, let's rein it in, everybody. This is what the Broncos bring it out here. There may be a chance the Rabbitohs got 30-0 here. Second tackle to 40. Brandon Smith back on the field to Ashton Ward. Short running Tallis Duncan. He's going to be at the 30 on third tackle. Brandon Smith with a nice scoot here inside 20, and he'll be taken out of the 15 on fourth tackle. Tarnsey says he bet on the Broncos and never got disappointed. There's a lot of people betting on the Broncos here, and they are very disappointing. Cody Walker gives it to Siegwalt, and he's going to be fifth tackle at the 10. Cody Walker gets it out the back to Ashton Ward. Ward kicks it across. Here comes Edward Cossey again. Edward Cossey knocks it back. Tallis Duncan. Good tackle. Good tackle from Josiah Katapani. Edward Hughes says, I support both teams. No, the fuck you do not. Ezra says, make sure Ezra doesn't... No, also not happening. Messi says, let's go Bunnies. Snaky Games says, I'm getting reminded of last Sunday. 14 teams will struggle to make the 8. 14 teams will struggle to make the 8. Last Sunday. What was last Sunday? Or are you talking about Monday? Last Sunday? What am I missing here? Broncos Titans was Saturday. The Sunday games were Panthers Tigers. Okay. Panthers Tigers is what you're referring to. It's not going to be of that level. It won't be at that level. Fifth tackle here at the 50. And now Reynolds. He'll kick this ball down to the corner where Alex Johnson gets it at the 13. First tackle now at the 20. Bring up last Sunday and you're getting hidden, Mitchell says. That is our Tigers fan moderator here. He don't want to talk about Sunday. We can talk about this Sunday then, Mitchell. You'll be saying the same comment next week, but. Third tackle at the 30. Other Bunny says, who's short at Jai Gray, Adam Reynolds? Probably Jai Gray. They'd be close, though. Out of the right, Edward Cossey. Look how big he is. The big bopper. Yeah, okay. The 45 on fourth tackle. He was allowed to get up and make a little bit of an extra run. Underneath to Cody Walker. See you later. Right through the line. Great defense, Brisbane. And Cody Walker will be at the 30 on fifth tackle. No fullback in play. Because he's one that made the tackle. So Rabbitohs capitalise on it. And they kick it into the corner. But that's going to be an easy one to grab for Ben Hunt playing fullback there. Very interesting. 2.5 minutes to go here this first half. And Ezra Mann, he'll take it out to the 5 on second tackle. Chillwin says, Chill just calling out your bad joke, bruh. Me? What have I done? What bad joke? I've never made a bad joke in my life. Third tackle here at the 10. Jerry Mouse is taller than Adam Reynolds. Jerry Mouse. Fourth tackle at 15. The fact they beat us makes it worse after last week. The fact they beat us makes it worse after last week. Warriors. Who are we talking about? Oh, that's going out in the full from Adam Reynolds. Time to retire, buddy. Time to pack your bags. You ready? Time to pack your bags, you little gremlin. Minute 40 to go to the first half. Pack your suitcase there, buddy. See you in the... No. XFB says Bronx jerseys looked pretty sweet in the last game. Yeah, no, they are nice jerseys. I'll never insult it. Mental health is a very important factor, and this is Men's Mental Health Month, and I really appreciate what the Broncos do in regards to that jersey. Nima says Renault is washed as. Just Another Human says, wow, Bronx so disappointing. They go to the left-hand side to Ashton Ward. Ward now to Cody Walker. Siegwalt. He'll be at the 20 on third tackle. 1 minute to go here in the first half. Wise lost the Tigers. Yeah, you're right. You are right. But, yeah, different times of the year. Fourth tackle at the 10. Brandon Smith to Kilomatangi. Off to Ashton Ward. Ward to David Fafita. Not the play there from Ashton Ward. He's going over the sideline. That's really good defense. No, he's not. He's going to be just a little bit short. That was good work from the Broncos at least. 10 metres out. A little general. No, he's a little gremlin. Ashton Ward puts it over the top for Cody Walker. And that's a try time for the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Jamie Humphries. It's about to be 30-0 at halftime there, ladies and gentlemen. That's a good catch there from Cody Walker and a good follow-up by Jamie Humphries. Hey, Broncos, that's what it's like to follow through your players who make the big play. 28-0 with a kick to come. It's about to be 30 points to 0 at halftime. BRILLIANT stuff here, Brisbane. Brilliant. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da, 30-0. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da, 30-0. Just head to Bali 12 weeks early. Is he onside, by the way? Was Cody Walker onside? Yeah, try confirmed he was onside. Back it up, back it in. Let us begin. 30-point slap up. Time to wrap up. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Clanky. It's pretty clanky right now from Brisbane. It is pretty clanky right now. But anyway, since that Dragons player win the game for you Sunday, all hail Samson Sammy. Samson Sammy. Sam's been good for us this year, man. I hope he does well for the Dragons. I love Phil. He's a character, man. He is a character. And the Rabbitohs will make it a 30-0 Brisbane. Knock, knock. Who's there? Slap up. It's bloody damn well Freddie and Jason's son. That's who it is. The Rabbitohs have just absolutely punched you in every orifice that you can imagine. It is halftime. 30-0 to the Rabbitohs. Let's go through the stats and good luck, Broncos, getting through these stats because it's going to be a bit of a blasting. But guys, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe for new round here. We will, don't forget, we'll be live tomorrow morning early, 4:30 a.m. your time for Mexico versus South Africa in the FIFA World Cup opener. First game of the World Cup. Be here for it. They'll go for about 2.5 hours, and then we'll be live at 12 p.m. your time. Really good time slot for, 11:30 a.m. your time for South Korea versus Czechia for the second game of the World Cup. But let's get into these stats. So the Rabbitohs 30. So the Broncos 0. This is, of course, Stadium in Sydney. Tries, Edward Corsi, Alex Johnston, David Feeder, Alex Johnston, and Jamie Humphreys with the 5 from 5 conversions for Latrell Seagwald. Now, get ready, guys. This is going to be a long list of Broncos scorers. No tries here. There is absolutely nothing. Now, regards to possession, 61% possession to the Rabbitohs, 39% possession to the Brisbane Broncos. That is significant in favour of the Rabbitohs, and that is what's going to happen when you are seeing as the errors from the Broncos that have them under a 70% completion rate right now. 61% to 39% is dramatic. Time of possession, 17 minutes and 1 second for the Rabbitohs, 10 minutes and 39 seconds for the Broncos. 25 minutes is the threshold. They are overall collectively at 27.5 minutes. You're pretty happy with that, but it's a whopping 6.5 minutes in advantage to the Rabbitohs right now. This is what these kind of stats reflect, and the scoreline is directly reflecting these stats at the moment. Doesn't always do that. Completion rate, 80% is what you're looking for as a successful metric. Rabbitohs are at 84%. You're very happy with that. It's 21 from 25. You're not making too many errors. 84% is really good. Broncos, 68%. That is 12% below the 80% marker. 11 from 16. It just simply is not good enough. And as Southside has said here, the Broncos are on a bit of airplane mode right now. It really is. They're on airplane mode on the way to Bali because 68% is just simply not good enough. It's now 62%. I shit you not, it is updated from 68% to 62%, 10 from 16. That is pathetic. That is just simply not good enough. That's 22% below the Rabbitohs here, and that's 18% behind where you need to be. The runs-wise, 112 runs here for the Rabbitohs to 927 run meters. Technically speaking, that's about 200 metres. No, it's 114 for 938. Technically speaking, it's 202 metres behind the 10 metres in average per run. So funnily enough, the Rabbitohs are actually not getting as many metres as you would really like here. 114 runs, you'd like to be seeing 1,140. At least 1,000. You'd want to at least beat 1,000 metres based off 114 runs, but obviously not to be. So the Rabbitohs are a little bit critical there. But at the end of the day, they're up 30 nils. I don't think they really care. But it is a little bit of a stipulation here. The Rabbitohs aren't really doing too much in the run meter department, considering the amount of runs that they're receiving. And then you go over to the Broncos for 73 runs for 666 run meters. That number makes sense. Right now at Brisbane. So fun fact for you, Brisbane are doing more with the ball when they've got it. By a decent little bit, actually. 73, that would be 730 metres you're looking for on 10 metres an average per run. They're 666. So that means that they are about 54 metres behind the 10 metres an average per run. The Rabbitohs are 200 metres behind the 10 metres that you're looking for. The Broncos are only 54 metres behind the 10 metres an average per run that you're looking for. No, 64. That is a 140 metre swing. And when you look at the average set distance, you'll understand what I'm saying, because the Broncos are doing more with the ball when they've actually got it. They're down 30-0 though. Post-contact meters is 300 for the Rabbitohs, 187 for the Broncos. Not good there from the Broncos, but I can tell you right now that with 114 runs, you'd be looking for more than 300 post-contact meters. With that being said, though, 300 is the minimum that you're looking for, is a level that you're looking for that no matter what is a good amount. So 300 meters on the post-contact is good for the Rabbitohs, but you would have expected more with 114 runs. Line breaks, though, 4-0 to the Rabbitohs. Tackle breaks is 15-10 to the Rabbitohs. Average set distance, 25 metres and below is pathetic to the stream of. 25 to 30 is disgusting. 30 to 35 is underwhelming. 35 to 40 is hitting the marker. 40 to 45 is great. 45 to 50 is fantastic. And 50 plus is basically perfect. Well, the Rabbitohs, they're at 37.52, just doing the job. Just moving and grooving at a regular rate. Well, the Broncos, they're at 41.64. So they're making about 5 metres more, 4 metres more than what the Rabbitohs are doing. 41.64 is in the great category. They are making a great amount of metres per set. They're making an okay amount of metres per set. There is a gap of about 4 metres between the two of them in favour of the team that's down 30-0. So the Broncos right now are just horrific defensively. They really are. They're just horrific defensively because you have actually gone toe-to-toe with them at a better level than them in regards to the amount of runs you've had and in regards to the run meters you've had in comparison. Broncos, you should be doing better here based off of that, but obviously your defense sucks. Average play the ball speed, 3.19 seconds and below is extremely fast. 3.2 to 3.39 is fast. 3.4 to 3.59 is average. 3.6 to 3.79 is slow. And 3.8 and above is extremely slow. 3.39 seconds here for the Rabbitohs is fast. I'm making it at a pretty good rate, but 3.28 seconds here for the Broncos. That is also fast by 0.11 seconds. Pretty similar, but also 0.11 seconds in favour of the Broncos. They are making more metres on an average set distance with the ball. Now they're up by 5 metres, mind you, on 42.18, and have also got a faster play the ball speed. So what are we looking at here? Your defense. Offloads, 5-3 to the Rabbitohs. That is still quite low, but it's getting up there for the Rabbitohs, but still quite low, and very low for the Broncos at 3. You go to the forced dropouts, 1-1. Kick defusal is 60% for the Rabbitohs, 25% for the Broncos. Then you go to the effective tackle percentage, and this is interesting. This is very, very interesting. This is an individual metric, an individual defensive metric. What this tells me is when the Broncos are giving up tries, they are not even getting a touch on the player because these stats don't make sense. Effective tackle percentage, 85% below is awful, 85% to 88% is underwhelming, 88% to 90% is hitting the marker, and 90% above is basically perfect. Rabbitohs are at 90.07%. I'm also going to tell you the Broncos, 90.91%. So the Rabbitohs at 90.07% is basically perfect. 135 tackles made is below the typical 160 to 180 range. Below the typical 160 to 180 range by about 25. Missed tackles is 10, below the average of 15 to 17. And the ineffective tackles is 5. It's right on the average of 5 to 7. So 15 bad tackles through a pretty miniature 135 tackles made. It's still very, very good. But also they haven't had to make too many tackles. The Broncos, they've had to make a whopping amount of tackles. 90.91% for them is in the perfect category. 230 tackles made is 50 above the 10 minutes an average per run. Not 10 minutes an average per run. 50 above the 160 to 180 typical range. 15 missed tackles is on the lower end of the average of 15 to 17. And the ineffective tackles is 8. That's above the average of 5 to 7. That's 23 bad tackles with a whopping 230 tackles made. 50 above the average and 95 tackles made above the Rabbitohs. They have 95 more tackles made with only 5 more missed tackles and only 3 more ineffective tackles. These stats do not reflect this game. But it just shows to you the Broncos are not a team cohesive unit right now. It shows to you that the Broncos are not on the same wavelength with each other whatsoever. And then you go to the negative play. 3 and below on the error rate is really good. 4 to 6 is average and 7 above is awful. 5 errors for the Rabbitohs is normal. It's average. 8 errors for the Broncos. That's where you're losing it. You're giving up errors, and when you give up errors, the other team is going to score. 8 errors is just awful. Penalties conceded 1-0 to the Broncos. Ruck infringements 2-0 against the Broncos, and inside 10 metres is 1-1. Unfortunately, right now, Brisbane, I don't know how to find a way around what we are seeing from you. Over these last 5-6 weeks, this is getting ridiculous. You are 30-0 down to also a team with a lot of players out in the Rabbitohs. You lost to the second last place Titans last week at home. The week prior, you lost to the last place Dragons at home. You've lost 6 games in a row if you lose this game. You also lost to the Eels, who are currently in second last at home. I don't know how to give you a positive reading because if you look at these stats, you're actually doing better in regards to run meters when you have the ball. You've actually got a faster play the ball speed. You've got a better average set distance. Your tackle breaks are not too far off. The line breaks are far off, which means you're just not making a touch on the player. Your offloads are pretty equivalent. You've got the same amount of forced dropouts. Your defense is actually technically better than the Rabbitohs right now on an individual level with 95 more tackles made. It's just your errors and your penalties conceded, and the Rabbitohs aren't ill-disciplined here today. And that's why you're getting done over. That is why you are getting done over, unfortunately. What on earth was that in the comments that I just saw? Good on you, Brenton, for getting rid of that one pretty quickly. Highlands fan with a $3.50 donation says, I'm feeling a win versus Iran. 1-0, we're going to do it. That's a Kiwi, for anyone who doesn't know. New Zealand versus Iran is their first game. Appreciate if you don't know. I'll be live, and I want you guys to do it. I would like you guys to win. It's not going to happen, man. It's not going to happen. Unfortunately, I will be realistic with you and say it is a miracle if you can draw a game. You should lose every single game in your group. But it will be awesome if New Zealand can surprise and they can try and force their way into the second round via one of those third place spots. But I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. You lost 4-0 to Haiti. 1-0 game to England was not too bad, but Egypt is better than you. Iran is better than you, and Belgium should shit on you, really. But again, I'm going to be backing in New Zealand because I want to see our brothers in New Zealand go well, but Belgium should slaughter you. They should absolutely slaughter you in that game. Should punch you by... If Haiti beat you 4-0, God help you. Against Belgium. Jared says you have more confidence than I do. Yeah, exactly. But appreciate you, Highlanders fan, for the $3.50 donation. But I'm going to be honest with you. And I don't want to give you false hope. But with that being said, you've got to have the belief. But as a person who would like to see New Zealand win, I'll be realistic with you and say it's just probably not going to happen. User handle says, sad for the Broncos, 1st to 20th, ain't no top 8 this year from that performance. Yeah, 20 teams don't exist in this competition. There's actually only 17. Jared says, if New Zealand win a game, I'll do a backflip. That's how little confidence I have. Yeah. You are, I believe, the worst ranked team in the World Cup. Not here to shit on you. I'm just saying, I'm pretty certain New Zealand are the lowest ranked team in this World Cup at 73 or something like that. I think so. Let me go get it. I'm pretty certain you're about 73. Cup rankings. The world rankings. Here we go. Because I know we're ranked 27th. I'm pretty certain... Oh, let's go to this loading screen again, is it? Yeah, we're 73. Oh, good. Off the top of my head, to get 73 is pretty good. Obviously says Wayne Revenge. I just think Broncos aren't great right now, man. Tyler says, I'm sorry for Feeder, Walker, Gray, Keon versus who? Renault needed to retire last year. Willison is our only decent middle. Like, yes, we have sucked this year, but I saw this score coming from a mile away. You saw 30-0 coming at halftime. To be fair, Broncos aren't good in first halves. But you saw 30-0 first half. I don't know if you saw that. Home Chilling says, can you read my comments? It's the first comment I've seen you read. That's the first comment I've even seen. That is the first comment that you've put. What do you mean, can you read my comments? You haven't even put a comment before this. You haven't even put a comment beforehand. I still can't believe Haiti has a team. Haiti, Curaçao has 150,000 people. For context, I'm pretty sure the Gold Coast has like 500,000 people in it. Gold Coast population. So the Gold Coast has a population of 690,000 people. Curaçao, who was at this World Cup, have 150,000. Curaçao, who have a population of 150,000, are at this World Cup. The Gold Coast in Australia has 690,000. Don't even start me on Delhi. Then again, India didn't make it. Daniel McClellan says, Broncos showing how hard it is to keep the hunger and go back-to-back, making Penrith's dynasty look even more impressive. Yeah, you could definitely look at it that way. I also just think that the Broncos have gone... You've got to realise that their period... They had a period, right? 2023, 2024, 2025, and now 2026. So 2023, they made the grand final. They lost it. 2024, they had a down year, but they really shouldn't have with their team. 2025, they go on and win the grand final. And 2026, they've got the premiership hangover. This was their period. They're about to lose Renault. for Jonah Pezzett, who hasn't exactly stunned and has been injured for most of this year. They're going to lose Payne Haas, who is their stalwart in their team, but obviously for me, he's clocked out right now. This Broncos team is going to go into some serious pain for the next couple of years if they don't fix themselves very, very quickly, because their period, their window is closing. If they can't turn the season around, I don't have them to be a premiership threatening team next year with no Payne Haas and no guaranteed 7 to really lead them, and they've got problems with Ezra Mam right now. So you've got problems with your 6. I wouldn't say Jonah Pezzett is a guaranteed 7 either, but at least you've got someone there, but I wouldn't say it's guaranteed on a lot of ways in regards to quality. Reece Walsh, his form has been awful, but we know we can do, but he's not consistent. Same thing goes with Stags, but he's a lot more consistent nowadays than what Reece Walsh is. Rabbitohs running out to the field here. Your wingers are okay. Your back row is okay at best. Paddy Carrigan is already talking about going to Papua New Guinea. And I don't know what your front rowers are going to be. What are Mitchell Barnett and Ben Talty? Xavier Willison? It's looking rough. It's looking rough for Brisbane. Nikhil says, this ugly colour of the Broncos jersey have played a part. What is that, Plum? I don't know if it's the jersey, mate. I'm not going to lie. Who else is keen for Australia to slap them Americans 5-0? Well, that's not until next Saturday, but yes, it should be beautiful. It should be beautiful, mate. Beautiful. 30-0 here. We go into the second half where the Broncos will kick it off. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe, and hopefully, we can see a bit of a better effort from the Broncos in the second half. Payne Haas is an incredible leader, and that will be a massive loss for Brisbane. Yeah, well, he's there right now, and they're still down 30-0 at halftime. Glenn's, not the jersey, mate. This team is checked out of coach and trains big time. Yeah, don't disagree. Mitchell with the $8 donation says, I've heard enough. Give the Broncos 24 home games. They already get 24 home games, mate. They already do. Southside says, I have Ezra. What do you mean you have Ezra? Ain't no way you think Barnett, Wilson, Carrigan, Ricky, Pickura, 4-pack is rough. I think right now I do, yeah. Like definitely on a premiership side, no doubt, but it ain't doom and gloom. We suck because of our attitude. I don't rate Pickura anywhere near the hype that he gets. I think that he is susceptible defensively, but I also think that he can be a threat on attack. But what's he doing right now? What has he done throughout this year? And actually, you know what? I'll push this back onto you. What has Pickura actually done as an individual? Has he had any shining light on a consistent level games that have stood above the big time players in this team? Have you actually ever seen Pickura step to that next level? Last year, the Broncos played as a collective, and I would say that Reece Walsh, without him, you probably don't win it. But at the end of the day, last year they played as a collective, but I've never really seen Brendan Pickura become the player that we've always expected him to be. Carrigan's probably not going to be with you long term because he's already speaking about going into Papua New Guinea. And that tells me right there, when your captain is talking about going to a new franchise because of this, well, how can you listen? How can you trust his work ethic here at this club on a long-term basis? He is a very work-hard player, but he's already talking. How can he go and talk in public about leaving you for Papua New Guinea? How can he go and do that as a captain? If they come and they sign him and then that happens like Jerome Luai, sure, but you didn't hear about Jerome Luai until it happened. Paddy Carrigan's openly said that he's open to going to Papua New Guinea. What kind of captain is that? What kind of captain is that? Rabbitohs will get thrown over the sideline here at the 45. Jordan Ricky, he's been solid this year. Haven't really rated him in previous years. I haven't really rated him at all in previous years, but he's had a pretty solid year this year for sure. In regards to Barnett, I like a Barnett, but also he's on the bench for the Warriors. So you've got to stop looking at this from just a Broncos mindset and start looking at the reason why we're talking like this. It doesn't mean that we're right. It doesn't mean that you're right. You've got to look in the middle here and say, why are they talking like this? Why are they saying this? Because there's a reason for it. Barnett is currently on the bench for the Warriors. Did nothing in regards to the New South Wales game, but he's on the bench in the Warriors behind the likes of James Fisher-Harris, who's fantastic, but also Jackson Ford, who's having a career year. But Jackson Ford's forced his way over the top of him. Barnett's not really done anything so far. Third tackle with the Broncos. Now they're at the 30. So Barnett, there's question marks there. Jordan Ricky, there is absolutely question marks there. Brendan Pickura, there's absolutely question marks there. Your front row is Xavier Willison. What's he done in the front row, mind you? I want to put that out there. What has Xavier Willison done? I really like what Xavier Willison could be. What has he done for you to suggest that the Broncos don't look rough right now in regards to a lot of factors. Fit tackle here at the 15. Ben Hunt at the left-hand side to Ezra Mam. Ezra Mam's going to run underneath here, and he'll be taken down a fit tackle at the 3. Rabbitohs ball here at the 10. There is a lot of room for concern in this forward pack next year. There is a significant room for concern in regards to your spine, and there is a significant room of concern in regards to your back line. And that is from an outsider's perspective. And that's a good offload here, and Jai Gray is going to get this ball to the 25 on second tackle. A lot to respond to. Well, then respond to it. Don't hide behind very much want to respond to it, all of it. No, respond to it. I'm here for the response. If you disagree with it, sure, let us know why. But I'm telling you, this is coming from a perspective that's not from a Broncos, whilst your perspective is coming from an individual Broncos perspective, whilst a lot of the guys that you're defending right now are currently in this game. Now go to the left-hand side to Corey Pakes, and they're going to be at the... Not Corey Pakes, that's going to be Brandon Smith go over the sidelines. Rabbitohs with the ball here. The 40. If you don't want to listen to the criticism of your club and the criticism of your team as you're currently about to be in third last by the end of this weekend, potentially, and also down 30-0 in a game of the Rabbitohs, who also have a bucket load of players out, that's your choice. It's your choice. 35 minutes to go here to game. No, it doesn't mean to force it. And again, it doesn't mean that we're right, but you need to understand the perspective. There's no way that you can disagree with the perspective. That doesn't mean you have to agree with the outcome. First tackle out of the Broncos. They're going to get this ball, Brendan Piakura, to the 45 on second tackle. Game's left runner, unfortunately. 100%, said Watson. Ben Hunt gives it off to Xavier Willison. He'll be at the 35 on third tackle. Potential Xavier Willison's massive. Not done anything yet, though. Adam Reynolds. Ezra Mam out to the side, got a Pani, and he'll be taken down to the 10 on fourth tackle. Well, the Broncos play much better in the second half. This is what they do. All they do is rely upon the second half being better than their first. It's just 30-0. It's probably a bit too much. Reynolds is going to throw that ball, and they're going to lose about 10 meters from out the 25 on fifth tackle. Adam Reynolds, and it's going to be Rabbitohs ball to 5. Willison, absolutely brilliant last year. So 1 year, okay, carried the team on multiple occasions without Payne and Carrigan during Origin period last year. Absolutely crap. He hasn't done anything yet. Cody Walker's having a bit of a biffo here. What is Xavier Willison doing for you right now? He's been there for you this year. What's he doing? Titan. Again, last year, your team was a collective. Last year, to say carried the team, Reece Walsh carried your team last year when you guys were winning. And I get you're upset right now. And I get you don't like that I'm criticizing your team right now. But Xavier Willison carrying your team is incredible considering what Reece Walsh did for your team last year, who I will have no criticism for besides the first half of the year. Xavier Willison, this year, has unfortunately been a plotter for the Brisbane Broncos. Show me the stats to prove otherwise. Xavier Willison is a guy that I've rated really highly on a prospect level, on a potential level in the past. He has not done anything yet. 1 year doesn't make you a massive player. 1 year doesn't make you the best player in your position. You're arguing based off of 1 year when the Broncos had one really successful second half of the season as a team collective. Really impressive for them in the second half of a season, but outside of that, to completely not acknowledge what anybody else is saying just because you're a Broncos fan that it's crap, the opinion is crap just because you're a Broncos fan, is stupid for mine. You need to be open to the discussion in regards to it. Is Xavier Willison the worst player in his Broncos team? No, but what's he doing right now? And again, there's context for last season in regards to the collective of the players. Reece Walsh is still going to get criticised for the fact that he's had one really quality for a half of a season where he took the Broncos on their back, but he's also very inconsistent. Argue it right now because at the first half of this season, he has been one of the worst players in the competition when he's been on the field outside of his injury, and he absolutely does not deserve to be in the Origin team, but he's been there as a token Bronco player for the Queensland side because there's no argument to say that Reece Walsh deserves to be in that Queensland side right now. No argument. You are not wrong. I am also not wrong. We're looking at it from two different sides. But to suggest that it's crap is ridiculous, and it means you're not willing to have a conversation. You just want to be heard yourself. Xavier Willison was great in his own way last year as a collective, but this year he's done nothing. And 1 year and one half of a season does not make you one of the best players in the game. They're away here, the Rabbitohs. They're at the 40, they're at the 45, they're at the 50, and they'll be taken down to the 45 on the Broncos side of the field. How many times have I admitted we've been god awful this season? It has nothing to do with the conversation. Has nothing to do with the conversation. That's changing the goalpost. It's got nothing to do with this conversation right now. Stop shifting the goalpost to say, oh, well, my opinion is completely valid because I say this. Got nothing to do with the conversation that we're having right now. And that's going to be a drop ball here from the Broncos. And it's going to be the Rabbitohs who get a penalty 10 minutes away from the line. They might even go for the 2 here to make it 32-0. Ty says, come on, cuz, you can hit a woman with... No, we're not going to go into that. Olivia says I'm going to bed. God bless you, Olivia. Nikhil, so I'm starting to wonder why I'm still watching this game. I'm just here to chat with BKR community at this stage. Yeah, that's what usually happens. Seb wants to stop saying there's so many positives about the state of the team. Again, a Broncos fan is, of course, going to intentionally look at the positive of the team. The exception I take is it's crap to suggest the Xavier Willison hasn't proven himself yet. That's the exception I take. To say that is a refusal to acknowledge anybody else's perspective. And that's the problem, regardless of the fact that you are a Broncos fan. David Fafita's at the 3, sorry. Curly Pass, is this Bunny side pretty much going to be the same next season with Haas instead of Kolomatangi? Essentially, but obviously not with this game. There's still players out, but essentially, yeah. But you'll see Payne Haas in the front row, yeah. The Rabbitohs, Brendan Smith, Kolomatangi. He's going to be 2 minutes away from the line for tackle. Again, you've got to add in guys like Latrell Mitchell and Jack White and Campbell Graham, the likes to this team right now. The Broncos are at the 10. Cody Walker. He's going to get that ball out the back now to Ashton Ward. Ashton Ward gives a Jai Gray. Flicks that ball across here to Edward Kossie. Kossie hit the 10. He steps inside. Fit tackle. Gets the offload away to Talis Duncan. Duncan then gets it off to Ashton Ward. Ashton Ward still moving here. He's still rolling. Goes out to the left. Kicks his ball through. Jesse Arthurs will grab the ball to 5. And he'll bring it out to the 15 here on first tackle. And so just genuinely don't know what happened to us. We've gone from a premiership team to about to be bottom 4. On paper, we aren't a bad team at all. At the moment, we aren't even the second half team. I would disagree with you in some part in regards to the second half team. Like, for example, right now, we're saying 30 minutes to go the game here, folks. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. I agree with you in a lot of ways. But I'll disagree in the sense that the Broncos have been clearly better in this second half than the first half. But they were down 13-0. Right now, it's still 0-0 after 11 minutes. Like, the Rabbitohs pieced them apart in the first half. The second half has slowed down massively. So the Broncos are a better second half team. Against the Titans, obviously, they were a much better second half team than they were in the first half. I don't think it's away from the team, but I think this team expects to come back. And once you expect to come back, there's a problem. Because then you don't care about the first half, and then it can blow out 13-0. Good luck chasing 13-0, because that would be the greatest comeback of all time. The biggest comeback right now is at 26 points. So right now, you would have to score 32 unanswered points to win this game. That's not happening. So that's the point. You can come back from 16 down. You can come back from 10 down. You could technically come back from 20 points down. You've done that against my club before. But 30 points is not going to be happening. You asked what Willison has ever done. I was saying, what has Wilson done to prove himself as a big-time quality player? And that is talking about the future of this club, because he is essentially... Oh, that's out in the fall there from the Rabbitohs. Out in the full. I said he carried our forwards during Origin period and stats back it up. You reply, well, mate, that was last year. All I was saying is he has done something. One period, you're completely missing what my response was. One period during Origin does not prove that Xavier Willison is now a guaranteed, bona fide leader in regards to a front row forward. What has he done overall to prove what you're saying and you're suggesting that he's ultimately one of the best front rowers in the game is the suggestion that you're making right now. And it's a very, very bold assumption to make in regards to that. What has Xavier Willison done as a whole through his career? He's still very young. What has he done for you to have the opinion that it's crap for someone to say that he hasn't lived up to the expectations as an overall player throughout his career when we know how good he can be? You are saying that it is crap to criticize. Ezra Mam steps on the inside, and Ezra Mam will be taken out of the 5. Should have passed that ball. They would have scored. Third tackle here, 5 minutes out for the Broncos. Ben Hunt goes. Grant Anderson just like got a punting in the corner. 30 points to 4 with a kick to come. Broncos are better in the second half. And that's what we're saying. They still are a bit of a second half team, but 30 points is too much to overcome. The issue is that you tell people that the opinion is crap when the perspective is absolutely valid, but because you're a Broncos fan, you refuse to acknowledge the discussion. And that's where I take exception to it. Olivia says there's a lot of issues with the Bronx, not just team-wise, but behind the scenes, from what I know, lots of issues in the membership department, so a lot of fans are unhappy. Yeah, look, valid. It's going to happen. I promise you, the worst place to be when a club's going well is deeply involved in a club because everyone blames everyone. Everyone points the finger. Everyone says it's your fault. No one takes accountability. This has happened to the Titans over the years, which they're finally, I think, trying to get away from now. But they'll point the finger. They'll point the finger at anybody else besides themselves. It's not my fault. It's your fault. You know, the Broncos right now, they're looking at probably Michael Maguire, or they're looking at this department or that department, or the membership department now is being brought up, and you know, sometimes it'll be the fans aren't doing their job. And it's like the fans don't have a job. The fans, all they do is support their team, but also they can be critical of their team. That doesn't mean they don't love their team. 30 points to 60 of the Rabbitohs with 26 minutes to go here at the game. Just because you are critical of your team does not mean you don't love your team. It actually probably means that you do love your team more than other people, because you can see the reality. You want better for your fans. You want better for the club. You want better for your community. If you're sitting there and you're circle jerking your team being in 17th position, you're not a fan. Like, what's that a fan? You're supporting a team that's in 17th and you're saying it's all good and okay? Dragons fans aren't doing that. The Dragons fans are critical of their club, and I know that they're passionate and they love their club. But if you sat there and you're okay with 17th, then you're not really a fan. You're not really a fan. That doesn't make you any better of a fan than anybody else, because you're just there you're literally just there to watch your team on the pure basis that you're not looking for any competition. You are literally just looking to watch a TV show for 80 minutes. You don't actually really care about the club, because the club needs success to survive. Knock on from the Broncos after points. Brilliant. Rabbitohs bought the 20. Just needs another human, since I feel unhappy watching the Broncos, even as a neutral. Get it? We will have largest finals playoff comeback and NRL comeback all in one day. Good luck. UK says, who scored for the Bronx? Just Aikatapani scored. And since I got rid of membership because I didn't want to be all in, I started watching from a different perspective, when if we lose, it doesn't ruin my whole week. If we lose, it still ruins my whole week. But luckily, I travel and whatnot, so I can get away from it. By the way, if there are people who watch this and feel confronted by the conversations, this is what this channel is. It is all about passionate commentary, passionate discussion. At the end of the day, Tyler's entitled to his opinion, as am I, and as everybody here in this chat. And we all understand the intention behind it. So if you can't deal with the intensity of it, that's the whole point of what this is. This is where passionate fans come to discuss rubble. Look, you know, it's a third tackle here at the 5. Don't worry. If you want to have a crack at someone, have a crack at Daz, mate. We all do it all the time. They go to the right-hand side of Cody Walker. Cody Walker to try Gray to Tallis Duncan. Tallis Duncan's going to push away, offload. That's poor defense there from Brisbane. I don't know if Edward Costa gets this ball down. That might actually be a knock-on. Might actually be a knock-on here. I reckon he's bounced this. Yep, we are going to lose. We are down by too much. We make a comeback. One of my mates is saying that we still have a chance. You do not have a chance. 30-0 to 30-6 is no chance. And yeah, he's dropped this ball. Seb Bottom says, unfortunately, if you passionately support a team, you're already all in, membership or not. Correct. Corsi, the size of pain in the arse. Explain. What do you want me to explain? Opinions are like arseholes and Daz, mate. Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. All right, Broncos. They'll get this ball to the 25. Should be 0 tackle here. Should be 0 tackle. Oh, boy. First tackle now at 35. Second tackle, sorry. Now third tackle at 45. I know I can try to get him to sub and join the chat right now. Is he prepared for the response to when he says the Broncos still have a chance to come back in this game? Fourth tackle now. Oh, forward pass. Didn't call it. Oh, that was definitely forward there from Brisbane. Fifth tackle now at 35. Can we time out Ibrahim? Can we time that Jimima? Yeah, look, actually, it's a good point. Yeah, Jimima, you are going to get slapped there. I know you know why. We'll see you in 5. Yeah, you're right. Tyler says, FY Broncos don't have a chance in this game. I ain't that delusional. I don't think you thought that. Second tackle now for the Broncos, and they're going to be at the 20. 25 minutes to go here at the game. I think it's always important to still have hope in your team. I think it's always still important. I've been, and I will remain to be, I don't know if I'm as delusional anymore, but I think it's important to have faith and hope in your team until proven otherwise. Technically, 4 tries in 25 minutes is definitely doable. It's not happening, but like as a fan of a club, I would hold that hope out, I guess. You are the last team to score. You've helped them to 0 in the second half. That's a 40-20, is it? Nope. Broncos get the ball 13. Home chilling. I don't think you realise we don't give a fuck if he starts an argument. GTR says, have you forgotten to mute the mic when you fart? Thought I heard one. You are a muppet. Seth Watson says, wake up bunnies, give us a 50 against these shitters. Yeah, look, it just seems like the Broncos are still that second half team, but their first half is just so deplorable that this is a big reason why not winning games. Look at the Roosters game, for example. Yeah, see, that's why when people say that they're not a second half team anymore, they've lost that second half comeback ability. No, their first half is just that bad. They don't have enough in them to come back in the second half. The Roosters game was a prime example. They really came rocketing into that game. Still lost 13 plus. You know, the game against the Titans, they were much better in the second half, and they still lost that game. We also what happened in the World Club Challenge. They are currently winning this second half 6-0 right now when they were down 30-0 in the first half. So it's pretty clear to me that this Broncos team is still a first half bad, second half good team. It's just their first half is so bad, the second half doesn't matter how good it is. Alex Johnson's going to bring this ball to the 23 on third tackle. Jai Gray. And Lachlan Hubner at the 30. And they'll go to Keon Koloamatangi, and Koloamatangi is going to be at the 45 on fifth tackle. Oh, the clock's stopped, by the way. On the broadcast, the clock's stopped. I was about to say 25 minutes to go. There's 22 minutes to go, but the clock has stopped on the broadcast at 24:54. Broncos get the ball to 10, and they're going to bring it out to the 25 through Hayes Perham. Daz versus Josh Curran. No, that's another forward pass. I can't believe the referees aren't calling Broncos forward passes right now. That was Lagging and Josh Curran. Lagging Bullsakes hates Josh Curran. So Olivia just had to do something. What did I miss? What do you mean? Olivia getting called a fake Broncos fan? Olivia's definitely not a fake Broncos fan. Passionate Titans fan, but fifth tackle. No, they get the offload away to Adam Reynolds. 35, and Ren will be taken down to the 25 on fifth tackle. Corey Pakes to the right-hand side. Hayes Perham. Reynolds is down, injured right now. God bless him. And Jesse Arthurs will be taken down to fifth tackle, and that'll be all she wrote for that set. And Reynolds is limping heavily right now. Happy birthday for 2 days' time, Josh. We'll be live for plenty of games on that day. FIFA World Cup and also NRL. Times I have no faith in Broncos to achieve anything this year. This is 2024 all over again. Maybe worse. We'll finish bottom four, and that's utterly unacceptable. But I will defend Willison, not Pete Kura. I'll still criticise Willison, regardless of your defence of Willison. But if you don't understand what I'm saying, that's completely fine. But there is absolutely room for criticism for Xavier Willison. A 1,000,000% room for criticism for Xavier Willison, regardless of the potential that he can have, or the miniature period and the origin period. So you can defend him all you like. You can back it up with stats all you like during a period that I'm not debating. But I will debate in regards to Xavier Willison not living up to the expectations and the standards overall as a player throughout his career so far, in his young career, that can absolutely change around, because I rate Xavier Willison as a future prospect, and I rate Xavier Willison going forward. This year he's done absolutely nothing, and I believe outside of a period, it's more so been the team collective rather than Xavier Willison. So we'll bite back on that every day of the week. And Brendan Piakura, absolutely. Oh, and look at the Broncos' work ethic there. Look at that. Look at that. That's brilliant there from the Brisbane Broncos. Preston Ricky is walking back. The ball's going to hit him in the back. Luckily, the Rabbitohs is going to drop this ball, but that was absolutely pathetic work right there from Preston Ricky and the Brisbane Broncos, and also poor pass there from Ben Hunt. But then anyway, to go back on to everything else, I think that, 2024 could be all over again, but you're still within range, so I still have hope. I still have hope as a fan. Nikhil says, I see Reynolds limping off games more than anything else these days. God bless him, regardless of what he said. Like, at the end of the day, I never want to see a player get injured. I think I'm just done with people today. Olivia says, Rocky says, that is the best player I've seen for the Broncos all night. Reynolds cannot. He has got his leg. There's no way you can play on here, Reynolds. You have to come off the field, man. You have to come off the field. There's no way you can. If you have to go Reynolds' side right now. Whenever you get the ball, you have to go Reynolds' side. You have to run at him. Deluxe. So they said knock on from South Sydney. They nearly just lost their own scrum. Because the Rabbitohs knocked the ball on at the Bunnies. It came with the back of Preston Ricky. First tackle now for the Broncos, and now will be at... Oh, that's a high tackle. There's a penalty coming up for Brisbane. 18.5 minutes to go here of the game, folks. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Adam Reynolds has come off the field. Don't forget, South Africa versus Mexico tomorrow morning at 4:30 a.m. We'll be live for the first FIFA World Cup game. And then at 12 p.m. your time, we'll be live for South Korea taking on Czechia. I did that with the Knights last year, Olivia. Quarters says, Broncos form premiership to wooden spoon. Love to see it. Beautiful. Mitchell says, nothing will never be more satisfying than watching the Broncos lose, Mitchell says. Oh, boy. Jordan, Ricky. He'll beat the 35 now on first tackle. Mexico 2-0. I think it could be 3-0. I think Jimenez will score for sure. Ezra Mam, he'll go out to Josiah Katapani, and Katapani's going to step back onto the inside of the 20. And now they'll be 15 metres out from the line. Second tackle. Corey Pakes. Oh, no. Ezra Mam is down injured, is he? God bless him. Corey Pakes gives it off. That's a good run. That should be a try. That will be a try for the Brisbane Broncos. So 17 minutes to go here. And it's going to be 30 points to 10 with the... Oh, he's lost the ball, has he? They're going to check this. Grant Anderson's claiming a try here, but Grant Atkins is saying this is a no try. Grant Atkins is saying he shot this ball over the line. Surely you got this down. And he will... Oh, it's going to be short, isn't it? It's going to be short, yeah. It's going to be really short too. Oh, no! Short of the line. He's lost the ball there. Yeah. It's a knock-on. Great call from Grant Atkins. This will be Rabbitohs ball at 10. Why is Taylor Duncan playing the centres? Because they have to, because they've got no Latrell Mitchell, no Jack Whiten, no Campbell Graham. If Campbell Graham's out too, so no Latrell Mitchell, no Jack Whiten, no Campbell Graham. You have to shift one of your back rows in the centres, and Taylor Duncan's gone there. It would have been a try in Wigan, though, Nate. Yeah, for sure. That definitely would have been a try in Wigan. 1,000,000%. It's a guaranteed try in Wigan. And also, don't forget, tomorrow got Dolphins versus the Roosters. Both teams heavily depleted on Origin. This is an awful haircut on Grant Anderson. It's not great. That's a high tackle penalty. Yep, penalty Rabbitohs. Both Broncos halves injured right now. I believe so, yeah. I believe so. Yep, Ezra Mam's come off the field. So both Reynolds and Ezra Mam have come from the field. This is turning into an absolutely nightmare season for the Brisbane Broncos. From winning a premiership last year to now being in a severe situation where if they lose this game, which they are going to lose it, they have a good chance of going into a third last this week. And the only reason you won't be in second last is because the Eels and the Raiders both play each other. You got to be the biggest Eels fans ever. And you got to be the biggest Tigers fans ever. Jai Gray's going to get this ball here to the 30 on third tackle. The Titans already have a better points differential than you, mind you. Raiders, not yet. It would take another, I think, 8 more points for the Raiders to have a better points differential than you. So go to the left-hand side. Gives it off. Latrell Seagwell, 13. Move on, brother. Tylen. Man, we've both said our piece. Like, move on, man. Because I will respond to that if I need to. Come on, man. Read the room, man. We've gone well and truly too much into that. We've gone well and truly into it. You're nitpicking in regards to an individual game against second last week. Come on, bro. Like, if we can go back through other games in regards to Xavier Wilson not picking up, which your own fans agree with in regards to look at all your social media posts as well, mind you. But I don't really care for their point of view. But the point is that they are agreeing with a point of view that I've said for a little bit now. So, knock on Xavier Wilson, by the way. We can nitpick that. 15 minutes to go here to game. Yeah, move on, Brenton says. Move on. Come on, bro. FNQ says good for everyone else, though. Fantastic. Jai Gray, he'll be 5 metres away from the line, first tackle. Keon is my only hope of not facing financial ruin this game. Please get over, big fella. Got to read the room, man. Second tackle now for the Rabbitohs. They're at the 10. Luch wants an immediate release. No great loss, to be honest. Yeah, well, I think that Dean Young's gone away from him anyway. Alex Johnson, hat-trick. 34-6 with the kick to come. Alex Johnson will score in a corner for his bing, bang, boom hat-trick. It's 34 points to 6 with a kick to come. It is about to be probably a 30-point game. Well, not an easy kick, but about to be a 30-point game. 10 metres out. They just slap it out of the wing and then see you later. Time to storm the field. He's broken the try scoring record again. Alex Johnson again. Still chance of a fitty bomb here, by the way, folks. 3 tries in 14 and a half minutes. 3 tries in 14 and a half minutes. He won't be missed any. He's been and gone twice now. I actually really thought that Lucian Leilua was one of your better players to watch this year at the Dragons, but also Dean Young has seemed to put him on the bench recently, so maybe Dean Young's not a fan, so I don't know where Lucian Leilua would go. Parramatta Eels wouldn't be a terrible shout. They love a good ex-Dragon. They love switching players between the two clubs, the Eels and Dragons, for some reason. I wouldn't be surprised if Lucian Leilua ends up at the Eels. I don't think he ends up at the Tigers with Kai Peace-Paul and Sawalafayanu, and they've got like depth there. No way Penrith get him. No chance. I don't think the Rabbitohs have the cap, and it's also not a preference of need, really. But Dave Fafita and Lucian Leilua is pretty dangerous, but I don't think that would happen. Roosters won't do it. Warriors don't need. They like Jacob Laban, but like at the end of the day, you could go that way, but they prefer Jacob Laban. I wouldn't say it's an awful shout at a team like the Raiders, but they've got depth. That's going to be a kick from the sideline, 36-6 with 13 and a half minutes to go here. No way, Titans. Broncos, I wouldn't say no to you. I wouldn't say no to getting Lucian Leilua there. Dolphins, probably not. YouTubers robbed me of my membership gifts. I haven't been able to use them for a couple of weeks now. Really? Well, I've been wondering why when there's a fitty bomb, people haven't been using their fitty bomb gifts. Tansy says, as I said before, they're going to make a comeback, but damn too late. Yeah, well, as you said before, they're going to make a comeback. Well, you shouldn't have said that before. 36-6, Broncos aren't making Jack come back. Jake says, if the Knights are playing, they would put 100 on the Bronx. Oh my gosh. WHMB says, how is it, legend? I hope all this is well. Brisbane might be the only team to be the most deserving of wooden spoon ever on your ponies. Second tackle here for the Rabbitohs. There is a chance of a 30 bomb here today. Third tackle at the 45. Can't have a 49.5. We need 2 tries for that. By the way, Nath, were you here when we had that? I know you were here for the majority of the stream, but did you stay awake for the end of that Congo and Chile game where it was what you had over 2.5 and it was 1-0 at the 86th minute and then there was 2 goals to take it over the 2.5? I can't remember if you stayed awake for the last little bit. I can't remember. They put that ball up, Broncos go up for it, and they knock the ball on, and that's a penalty too. Yep, penalty of the Rabbitohs. Penalty of the Rabbitohs. Blake Laurie can go too. He's been okay. We have Egan, Stewart, the Couchy Bros. Keon will be fine. I hope you'll be fine. I hope so. Oh, wait, they've called this a penalty to the Broncos. Why? Oh, I think it's a hamstring, lads. He's got ice on the back of his hamstring, Reno. Yikes. I got all those 2.5 games up and lost under 2.5. I did look at the Togo versus Benin score and it was 5-1. I was just like, yikes. Like, honestly, man, when you're looking at a game like Togo and Benin, my advice to you is always 2.5 over. Always over 2.5 in those kind of games, man. World Cup is going to be hard to predict. Oh, lost ball there from Brisbane. And the Rabbitohs will get the ball here at the 30. Lost ball from Brisbane. The Eagle, aka Dylan Egan. Well, I got it right anyway by saying Egan. Nikhil says, I'm not sure who we get, but I have been very happy with our recruitment, so hopefully they keep it going. Chubby says, I smell a South Africa upset. I do not. Well, be live for it, but I do not smell a South Africa upset. I think that I'm saying Mexico win 3-0. I'm saying South Africa are quite lucky to be here. They're quite lucky to be here. I think Mexico should be way too strong, especially at the Estadio Azteca. Like, Mexico losing at the Estadio Azteca to South Africa would be just enormous. You have, like, the atmosphere that Mexico will bring to that game at the Azteca is going to be actually insane. And South Africa are not a good footballing nation, bro. If this was a normal World Cup prior with the lesser teams, there is absolutely no world that they would be here at this World Cup. Oh, Damien Cook's in the crowd right now. Big Damo Cook there for the Rabbitohs. Third tackle at the 40. 10 minutes to go of the game, folks. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're new around here. Tansy says RSA is going to destroy them all, boys. Well, look, be nice to see. We'll be live for it, but I have my doubts. Cody Walker kicks his one to Hayes Perham, and Perham's going to be taking another 15 on first tackle. Tried to show Broncos respect and say out of 12, but they suck. Unfortunately, yeah, they do. Oh, really? South Africa aren't good at football? That's interesting. In football, not rugby union. Rugby union, rugby league. Well, not rugby league, but rugby union. They're fantastic. They're the best in the world. Love Reno. Hate to see injuries, but he's got to know it's time to retire now, surely. 100% agree, Tyler. He slows their team down. He slows the Broncos down. He can have some big moments, but overall, as a collective 80 minutes, he slows this team down. I don't think Jonah Peasant's the answer either, but it's a better option than Adam Reynolds right now. Ultimately, don't even think it was Reno who won you the comp last year as well. It was other players, but he was still a part of the collective. Mexico 1-0 opening day pressure. I just feel if they score a goal in the first half, they'll blow away in the second half because the atmosphere will be just mental. If they can release that pressure early with a goal, then I think they'll blow them away. Be for real, we are not making the 8. Rabbitohs 48-8. Broncos finish bottom 5. Everyone here is agreeing with you at the moment. Reno decision to continue playing after last year left me utterly flabbergasted. Well, it's like Darius Boyd, mate. You remember, like, at the end of the day, this is the last paycheck of their career. They want to be making as mile. Rabbitohs are away. Jaden Sullivan right through. Underneath goes a try scorer for the Rabbitohs. Try scorer for the Rabbitohs. And they are going to put the absolute sword in for Brisbane today. It is the first time for John Rattle. On debut, John Rattle will score for the Rabbitohs. You've just been rattled, Broncos. 40-6 with a kick to come. Still a chance of a fitty bomb. John Rattle on debut. I was really struggling to think of his name just then, so I went over to the team sheet and I was like, okay, yep, now I understand. Well, 8 points away from a fitty bomb to officially end the Broncos' defense this year on a defending the premiership level. Na, 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 na. Great song. Great song. Metal says, and now they let the assistant principal score. Book the tickets to Bali now. Yikes. Would have been a great swan song for Reynolds last year. Some players just stay a year too long. Darius Boyd. Probably Paul Gal. No, Paul Gal. Yeah, Paul Gal probably stayed a little bit too long, but he did kick a field goal in that Tigers game at Leichhardt, prime time. Who's some other players who probably stuck around a little bit too long? Who were some other players? Reno, obviously. I'm trying to think. Has the Broncos had 50 put on this year? No. Someone put home shilling in the bin. Make this game just end. Yeah, look when the game just ended. I'm going to get an early sleep tonight because I'm going to get up early tomorrow morning for that Mexico vs South Africa game. Josh says, gee whiz, the Broncos suck. I think we're all in agreement. Benji Marshall. It's funny because Benji wasn't actually that bad at the Dragons when he went there. He wasn't that bad. I think, yeah, the Rabbitohs contract was probably a little bit pointless in a lot of ways. But they did get to the grand final with him there. Not that I think it was him. I think it was mainly Reno and Cody Walker and likes. Trell Mitt. But, yeah, Benji Marshall could be it. NZL's at the Bunnies? Yeah, going well here. Oh, that's right. The opening ceremony. I won't be live for it, but I'll be watching the opening ceremony. That's on... What time? That's on at like midnight my time, yeah? 3 a.m. for you? No, can't be. Yeah, 3 a.m. for you? Is that when the opening ceremony starts? Gallen played 2 games too many. For people who don't know, whoever won that game between the Sharks and the Tigers in round 24, I think it was, back in round 19, in 2019, whoever won that game made the finals between the Sharks and the Tigers, and Paul Gallen, the lock, the 13... A little nuggety player, very good player if you know rugby league prior to the last 10 years. Tallis Duncan right through the line. Fitty Bomb is still on here. Still on here at the 10. Fit tack. No, gets the off the way for tackle. Tavita Tola. They go to the left-hand side. Ashton Wood kicks his ball through. Coming through. Try. No, that's a try time for the Rabbitohs. Alex Johnson for 4. Alex Johnson for unos, dos, 4-4 for Alex Johnston. And the Fitty Bomb is still on here, folks. 4 points of difference from the Fitty Bomb to end the Broncos season. This is a try time, Brenton. The man in the middle does not... I don't think Hubner gets a touch to it. Yeah, Mods, can you deal with that one? I know you know what I'm talking about. Can you deal with that one for at least 5 minutes? There it is. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, yeah, and you win that bet, Nate. Good stuff. Yeah, anyway, so Gallen kicked a field goal and the Sharks won that at Leichhardt. I was there at the game. I was there. Where's South's on the ladder now? Well, they're winning by 40 points. Yeah, Jaden Sullivan doesn't touch that ball, so it's going to be a try time here for Alex Johnston. He doesn't touch this. Yeah, no. So the Rabbitohs with a 40-point win, they'll go to plus 84. They go above the Dolphins. They need a big win to go above the Dolphins. They will go above the Dolphins. And the Dolphins play the Roosters on Saturday, but tomorrow, so we're live for it, Dolphins Roosters. But a 40-point win so far puts them above the Dolphins in the 5th position. Manly a plus 117, though, so you can't go above them. Broncos, you are now minus 106. Oh my gosh. You are now minus 106, which means if the Titans win, they go above you. If the Raiders win, they go above you. And you are now below the Dogs as well already. You are below the Dogs anyway with their bye. They've got a bye, but you're below the Dogs on points differential. You are now below the Raiders prior to their game against the Eels on Saturday. And if the Raiders just lose by 1 point, they're above you still, mind you. That's actually huge for the Titans. If the Raiders lose their game by like 1 point or any, like, yeah, if the Raiders just lose, the Titans can go up to 13th position here. They can go out of the bottom 4 with a win against the Tigers. That'd be pretty huge for us anyway, contextually. 4.5 minutes to go. Here's a 2-point difference between the Fitty Bomb and the Rabbitohs. 48 points to 6 with 4.5 minutes left. Jazz says, now I'm thinking of players that got their swan song. Lazarus had a great ending. Lazarus had a great ending, yeah. Great ending. All right, here we go. So the Rabbitohs, let's see. Do you think they get a Fitty Bomb? Drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. Drop it in. Come on. Come on. Second tackle now. Bucks, it's time to take fraud load away from the Bunnies' name. Yeah, we will. We'll do that. No, this is a big enough win, mate. It's a big enough win to take them away. And 4 minutes to go, actually. We'll do that now. We will do it now. Like, regardless, they're going to jump up a few spots here, lads. That's the first time we've heard South Sydney fans in the crowd all season, by the way, with that Rabbitohs chant. All right, they go to the right. Ashton Ward. He'll get crunched down at the 40 on 5th tackle. Adrian Coffey says, what a win for the Rabbitohs. Yeah, good win for the Rabbitohs here. Both teams have players out. No excuses for the Broncos. They're just not good at the moment. And the Broncos will catch that ball to 15. 3:40 to go here of the game. First tackle. The Broncos doing the worst Tigers impression. No, the Tigers did worse, mate. They lost 68-0. This is 48-6. Nikhil says, AJ try-scoring record is amazing. Never at any point of his career do I remember him being considered a marquee winger, but his numbers. He is the greatest try-scoring winger of all time. I would still say there are other wingers overall as a balanced winger that I would be taking over him. He is a very underrated winger in regards to his quality, but I still don't think he's the best winger of all time, but he's the best try-scoring winger of all time. And that's a forward pass there from the Broncos. That should have been a forward pass from the Broncos. 5th tackle now. Well, not yet, Sally. It's still 48 points to 6. Don't jinx it, folks. Don't jinx it. We want to see the Rabbitohs score one more. Jai Gray gives it off. The Broncos, they haven't conceded 50 just yet this season, but they're about to lose 6 games in a row. And it will really, really, really put a knife into their heart. They've been beaten by about 700, 600 meters in this game. Ooh, yikes. Oh, that's a high tackle. Don't know how that hasn't been penalised. 3rd tackle here at the 40. What does Marky Mark have anything to do with this conversation? They go to the right. Jamie Humphries. He'll be taking down the 40. 4th tackle. And they go to the right. Keon Kalamatangi now at the 50. 5th tackle. 2:15 to go. 2-point field goal or anything, man. Come on, Bunnies. And that's just going to go to the sideline. The Rabbitohs don't want it. They don't want the Fitty Bomb. Guys, there's not going to be a Fitty Bomb here. Well, AJ is the type of winger that will guarantee a try every time, and that's what makes him the greatest winger ever. I just don't agree, but I think that he is the greatest try-scoring winger of all time, and that's a fact. There's nothing that anybody could ever debate that. But I'm saying that if you get given a draft, like for example, right? Best NRL wingers of all time. I can't be bothered thinking of it off the top of my head. So if you're asking if you've got a draft and you're being asked if you would take if you take Alex Johnson, this is no disrespect to Alex Johnson. I know how good he is, but I'm taking Brett Morris over him. I would also take Hazmel Masri. I would also take Wendell Saylor. I would Lottie Takiri, fantastic. Brian To'o for sure. There's plenty of players. Semi-Rad Radra back in the day as well. Manu Vatavai, Suriasi Vunavalu, Akili Iwate, but he fell off in his career as well. Even Nathan Merritt back in the day, gee whiz. The point of the matter is that he's a fantastic and unbelievable try-scoring winger, and he is very underrated in regards to where he'd probably be selected on a list, but I would not be selecting him one. Since we all know Edric Lee was the best NRL winger of all time. Yeah, Tyler, I think it's about time we see you tomorrow. You're gone for 5 minutes, mate. We shall essentially mean we'll see you tomorrow. Appreciate you for tuning in, Tyler, but we'll see you tomorrow. That's a knock on there for the Broncos. It'll be a successful challenge here, Rabbitohs to get the ball. I would take Daniel Tupou. Yeah, I would. That's a bold call, though. That's a big ballsy call there. Rate it. I rate it, actually. Because Daniel Tupou is not too far away from Alex Johnson. Still far enough away. I would say that you probably do get more as a balanced overall winger from Tupou than Johnston. There's a reason why Johnson never played Origin. Yeah, it's the same with like Jared Croker. Jared Croker was a fantastic centre, but he just didn't... It wasn't Origin. There are just better wingers. Sorry, the Rabbitohs will go to 6th position. Dolphins 7th, Sharks 8th now. But because of those buys, Newcastle and whatnot. There are better overall wingers, but I think people can disagree with that. Good conversation, though. Yeah, get around your Lorenzo. Appreciate you for tuning in. We'll be live tomorrow for Dolphins versus the Roosters. Don't forget, tomorrow morning early on, we'll have the Mexico versus South Africa game if you're early risers at 4:35 a.m. in the morning. And then at midday, 12 p.m. or 11:30 a.m., we'll be live for South Korea versus Czechia. So if you want to get involved in the Football World Cup action, we're going to be fired up. Corey Oates. No, I'd probably take Alex Johnson over Corey Oates. I would. Yeah, we've been blue balled over 50 there. I would probably take Alex Johnson over Corey Oates for sure. Justin the Human says, the lack of effort in this game really shits me. Where's the professionalism? Justin the Human, I called this out immediately. I love how you bring this up now because you're right. When Adam Reynolds made that intercept when it was 0-0, it was 0-0 at the time. 5-10 minutes into the game, Adam Reynolds makes an intercept from the 20, runs to the 20 on the opposite side of the field. Jesse Arthurs is the only Broncos player that was jogging to get there. He is the only Broncos player that was within Kiwi. Every other Broncos player, you watch it again, you can see in the back, walking, stop still, walking, standing still, 80 metres away, 60 metres away. And that summarised the whole game right there from the Brisbane Broncos. Right there. It says, cheers for the stream. See you tomorrow for the World Cup. Yeah, appreciate it, man. Olivia says, well, thank God. Well, there we go. All right, guys. Marcus Sivo, prime Marcus Sivo was good too, Buck Cannon. He was good. But all right, guys, we will time that Edson next strand of blowouts. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Third half comeback. Yeah, third half comeback coming up for the Broncos here, guys. But all right, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. I'll see you in the morning for the 2 football games. And then, obviously, Roosters versus Dolphins tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. See ya. Welcome to the shit brigade, Brisbane Broncos.